of all time, 236 wins. But I read something today that might give me a little light on the subject. He had 19 ways to get you out, 40 different speeds, big curveballs, super judgment, gentleman manner. How did that little 5'6" guy get so well over 15 years that he got us beat? He got somebody out. He didn't have talent, speed. What was the secret?
He also, I'll give you one second guy who hurt me for a long time already, was that he used to cut the ball. He used to get his wedding ring and cut the ball. And I heard this from a number of different areas where that's exactly what he would do. Go out there and just, kind of check out. They did an all-star game. Oh, yeah, he only did it for an all-star game. Well, if you do it on the all-star game, I'm sure you do another one. I don't think he was only 5'6". I usually 5'9". Yeah, he was bigger than 5. He wasn't that small. There was a pitcher, the Yankees had a left-hand pitcher named Tommy Sheets. Right, I don't know that name. Yeah, he was like 5'6" or so, something like that. But I don't think Whitey was that small. No, he wasn't a big hulking guy, obviously, but he wasn't 5'6". Hey, you never know. Big factor. Can I give you another shorter pitcher in Davey Garcia? He was closer to 5'6" than I think Whitey Portis. That's for sure. Right now, the Yankees are favorites tonight. If you log on the Pennsville Sportsbook app and you are feeling confident, you're feeling good about the Yankees' chances, why not? Place a little waiver. This is the last baseball game left before the League Championship Series starts. Right now, the FanDuel Sportsbook app, they are minus 160. That's a pretty big number. Minus 160. Interesting. The Rays are plus 138 if you're thinking the other way. The Lakers are laying 7 tonight, too, as they try to close out the Miami Heat. But the FanDuel, and you may have played this last night with the Buccaneer Bear game, which we'll get into a little bit later on. You can place multiple bets on one game in what they call a single game parlay. And they're the only app that lets you do it. So you can pick a game, and your traditional bets, over, under, point spread, but then you can throw in other bets. First quarter bets, over, under, on yards done by the quarterback, all sorts of things. And FanDuel's going to help you out because they're going to refund the first game, single game parlay on any NFL game bet you make up to $10. That means you can bet a different parlay risk-free every week, all season long. So give it a try. Whether it's the baseball, the basketball, or the football, the FanDuel Sportsbook app is here for you. Just make sure you use the promo code EVAN when you sign up. EVAN when you sign up to play. Promo code EVAN. Present New Jersey or Pennsylvania. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site rent that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Terms apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We talk Giants and the NFL with Carl Banks next. Here's the air to DJ. That ball's high. That is high. To the second down. Oh, that boy is a drunk. The Yankees victory last night means it's on to a deciding Game 5 tonight in their ALDS series against Tampa Bay with a very high odds of the American League Championship Series starting Sunday. First pitch tonight is 7:10. The Yankees pregame at 6:30 with managing Bobby Bars, Manchester, John Sterling, and Susan Morgan bringing you all of the action. We're always on your flagship station for the New York Yankees. Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN and WFAN FM. We are a radio.com sports station. And if you're in the New York metropolitan area, you can now stream Yankees baseball on your smart speaker, mobile device, laptop, or tablet at WFAN.com. Good afternoon at 3:02 on Bob Niesler, the pitcher who won more games than any Yankee in franchise history. The left-hander affectionately known as the chairman of the board has died. Word today that Whitey on to win 236 games in life of 69 years, Joan by his side while watching last night's Yankees game 4. Current call for the Yankees on 3 days. The top of the glass now on only 2 days. The winner stays right where they are in San Diego to play the Astros in Game 1 of the ALCS on Sunday. Cover side on the fan.
house. The longest NBA season in history. Put it in tonight. Lakers one win away from their 17th NBA title and what will be their first in 10 years. Game to play Novak Djokovic for the championship. Djokovic is up 2 sets to 1 in his match against Stefanos Tsitsipas. This report is brought to you by your local Lexus dealer. The Lexus ES is now available with all-wheel drive with cutting-edge technology and, for the first time, all-wheel drive capabilities. The ES is ready to take on almost 6 feet away from other people, and a wave is a great way to say hello and goodbye. 66 degrees, partly sunny skies, that's what's happening. I'm Bob Eastler with Sports Flashes on WFAN. Listen to the fan anytime, anywhere. Download the radio.com app, favorite us today, and if you have a smart speaker, just say, play WFAN. is a week and a half now. How prepared can they be for when they play football again? Like, how do you think that adjustment's going to be for Tennessee, assuming they're able to play this week? And I guess they've done a lot of virtual meetings, but it's not as if that's practice. So how do you think that adjustment would be for a team like that?
Well, I would think in terms of game planning, I mean, football is football, but the game planning of it and the timing of playing is definitely going to be impacted. There's just no way if you have certain plays you want to run and you haven't practiced them that execution and timing is going to be on. It's hard to simulate if you're not actually doing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why, as fans, we're all going to watch, and we know that this is a difficult situation for sports, but it's everything that we're all dealing with, is how these guys aren't machines. It's not like a video game that you just turn back on. It's like, okay, now go play football. That was why I was actually really surprised with how well the Patriots played against the Chiefs last week, because they flew their day of, there was uncertainty about the game, they had shut things down, and the Tennessee thing is far worse because they haven't practiced in 9 days. Like, it's tough to imagine what that's going to look like when they start playing football again because of that.
No, it really will. The first thing I'm going to look for is sloppy play, execution of things, unless they just come up with a vanilla game plan and then just start to, implement things as the game goes on. But it's just hard. It's hard to put in a game plan virtually if you have no practice on the timing and execution of it. It's just, what do you do? Try to go through everything in pregame warm-ups to see how the timing goes. It's going to be interesting, and it's a disadvantage if you ask me.
Now, it has to be a disadvantage. There's no question about it. We're talking, of course, to Carl Banks. Well, if the Giants are ever going to score touchdowns again, you would think this is the week because they are playing one of the worst defenses in football. Very interesting game as they get into the division now against Dallas. Dallas has put a ton of points on the board, but they have given up a ton of points. How about that, Carl?
The Giants really have to work on what they need to do. The Cowboys are a defense that's giving up a lot of points. I wouldn't tell you that they have crappy personnel, though. They've got good personnel, and this to them could feel like the defensive game they need to get right because the Giants can't score points. So for the Dallas Cowboy offense, they put up a lot of points. Their defense, I think, they're learning a new system. Maybe it comes together, maybe it doesn't. But for the Giants, they've got to do their part to make sure they cover the little things to give them a chance to have success. But when you're averaging giving up 40 points a game for the last 4 games, you should feel good about some of the things you can do. But they still have disruptive players on their defense. Alden Smith, for whatever time he missed, he's back playing as good as he doesn't have the same quickness, but he is as explosive and disruptive as he was when he was a rookie. I mean, he doesn't move like he used to, but boy, he can make things happen. So, Jalen Smith, another really good player. They've got good players on their defense. They're not playing well. If the Giants do their job, maybe they'll have another day, another week where they're not playing well again. But it's up to the Giants. And, if you're on the Giants defense, this is a thing where they've got to make sure that their communication is at its highest because Dallas is doing so many different things with Jerry Jeudy as a linebacker. He's in a wide receiver, but he's basically the third guy in closest to the tackle, and he's running for your line. They do a lot of different things with him. They can't forget about Amari Cooper. And oh, by the way, I don't think Zeke Elliott has gotten worse. So there's a lot for the Giants to worry about defensively. The offense does have the luxury of getting a few scores up. It only makes the Giants defense their task even harder in terms of the little things that they need to do so that they don't blow leads want to turn guys wide open. And, you know, I've seen in every game so far, defenses have turned Jerry Jeudy loose. They put him somewhere, and no one accounted for him, and he's running free down the field. So,
You mean CD Lamb?
Jerry Jeudy.
The other great rookie wide receiver. There's a ton of them. Sorry.
Yeah.
You mean we saw Judy get one against the Jets last week?
It's so funny how it's okay how loaded this wide receiving unit. Now I'm talking about the Cowboys. I'm talking about the rookie class. It's ridiculous. How many?
The one we got can't play. The one that's the great second round pick that might keep playing.
No.
You know, he's 20 years old. Oh, 20 years old. They got a hamstring. They got another hamstring. Oh, he's supposed to come up. No, I can't. I'm still hurt. It's a joke.
Hopefully he gets better. He's young.
Yeah,
He's young.
and they've got so many weapons. And you mentioned CD Lamb and Amari Cooper and Zeke, but even this tight end Dalton Schultz has gotten a great opportunity now with Blake Jarwin out, and obviously Jason Witten's not there anymore. This Dalton Schultz has been a pain. And one thing we know is over the years, tight ends, specifically from Dallas, but really all tight ends, have given the Giant defense fits over the years.
Yeah, and that's one of the areas, again, it's about communication. It's probably, if I go back to Graham, he's going to take their biggest threats away and then work their way back to the guy who they feel is the next option when they take it away. But up front, if Dallas Cowboys can run the football, it's going to put more pressure on the Giants defense. So the pressure on their front four, front seven, is to mitigate the run game and limit what they can have on first and second down so that they can get in some favorable pass rush situations with the absence of Tyron Smith.
I'm very curious your opinion, Joe's opinion too on this, because I feel like if this comment was made by a player in this town, we'd be going nuts about it. But I've given it a lot of thought. I'm trying to be fair about it. But as a former player, I'm curious what you have to say about Xavier Woods, the Cowboy safety, who was asked about the effort from the Cowboy defense. He admitted, quote, I mean, on certain plays, some guys, me included, there may be a lack of effort. I mean, we're in the NFL. You don't expect guys going full speed for 70 plays. That's not possible.
Wow. I was just happy hearing that.
No, that was my first reaction. Carl,
You can't expect the guy to go hard for 70 plays.
Welcome to the U.S. NFL. Listen, if they're okay with that mentality, God bless them. I don't think I've ever been on a team that wasn't accountable every single play. Like, we were counting heads to the football. Like, count how many guys to the football. And if a guy was loafing, he got called out on it. And you didn't see it the next week or the next play. But this is a different era of football, and will probably vehemently disagree with that assessment. If you play 7, you play as long as it takes. I mean, it's called running in condition. But, again, this is an old man's tape, right? So, I'll let these guys handle it for themselves. But if I heard someone say that, I'd say you're not in good enough shape.
so you would, when you played, there was never a play you took off.
No,
I'm just clarifying.
if a play is going away, I'm sprinting. Well, that's the other thing.
Thanks, never took a play off.
I figured that. I was just curious.
You know, the salaries were structured as such that if you did X amount of tackles, you get a bonus. They were flying for the football every chance we got.
Just remember, too, who's offensive defensive coordinator was. You think Belichick's not, he's going to have a guy on his defense that's not playing every play?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the guy that doesn't play hard every play and then he's responsible for giving up something, what does he expect the coaches and his teammates to say? Yo, bro, I get it. It wasn't your play. You had to take it off. I knew you were tired. You played 68 plays really good. Yeah, they picked on you, but it's okay. We understand that you didn't want to go hard on that one. This is not how it works.
It's unbelievable. How much of a factor, if anything, is Jason Garrett had here going up against his old team? I mean, how much is that giving an edge at all to the Giants in your mind?
I guess to a degree. They're in a different system. Obviously, he knows how the offensive coordinator likes to call plays. Mike McCarthy's system is well known, but I think he can give guys some insight on the personalities and what affects individual players. And that could be an edge. I think the play calling, Jason's got to figure it out, what works for his offense and his personnel, period, not just against the Dallas Cowboys, but he can give a breakdown of personnel and can share what gives guys problems, what guys like, what they don't like, who are the weak links, who to go after. I think that's going to be an advantage.
We got more to talk about with Carl Banks. We'll get the keys to the game and how this Giant offense can get going. Carl Banks with us here on Football Friday. Ian Rappaport will join us a little bit later on. We'll get back to talking Yankees, Rays, and of course our NFL picks later on as well. Bingo and Roberts here on the Fan till 6.
Don't you hate it when the price advertised isn't the price you end up paying? Like with T-Mobile's Essential Plan, the price they advertise isn't what you pay. Read the fine print. Taxes and fees are added to the price, and you have to get multiple lines. With Spectrum Mobile, a better way to mobile. Go to SpectrumMobile.com and start saving today.
Easy recommendation, so you can play with peace of mind. See you soon.
Secure all active registered voters automatically receive their ballots by mail. How you return it is up to you. Learn more at vote.nj.gov. If something opens up,
The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Nick Costos here. Join me and Mark Malusis every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. for You Better You Bet, presented by Sugar House Online Sportsbook. Place your bets each football Sunday with us right here on The Fan.
So are you the type of guy that wants to look put together, but doesn't want to spend hours shopping? I hear you. This is why there's Stitch Fix, your personal styling service that delivers hand-picked clothes right to you. Stitch Fix is simple and convenient. Sign up in just a few minutes. Try new styles in the comfort of your own home, and there's no subscription required ever. So, isn't it time to refresh your look? Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, personal styling for everybody.
This is time that matters. A window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. This is your window of protection. Schedule their well visit now. Brought to you by Merck.
How can Staples help you get back to business?
By printing you new signs for the times.
Staples can help prepare your business for the new normal with everything from in-store signage to health essentials like masks and hand sanitizer, and all at amazing prices.
And this week at Staples, get $15 off posters or yard signs when you spend $75 or more.
Save big this week at Staples.
It's 1031. Exclusions apply. Limit 1 offer per customer. See store associate or visit staples.com/signage for details.
Curiosity Stream has thousands of documentary films and shows available on demand on any device. We're the Netflix for nerds, the Hulu for history buffs, the Feed if you're the type to nature dock and chill, if you're an armchair athlete. Pressure formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood pressure with the new Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure formula. Use as directed.
Liberty Benefit Insurance is a stage. Well, with Liberty Mutual, they'll customize and they'll save it. That's the spirit. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Liberty, 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 liberty. Howdy, on a da-da-da. Where's y'all on a da-da-da? I'm not what's da-da-da? We can switch to progressive, oh yeah. We can switch to progressive, we can sell and if you buy some stuff. Oh yeah. Switch to progressive and get some of the money we saw. Now we know we're gonna da-da-da.
These days, nothing is normal and everything is weird. But you can still save big when you switch to Progressive. It might just be the most normal thing you've done to dial.
So down at progressive.com.
Mutual insurance company affiliates. What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening. Who's able to hear more than what's being said. Who can provide tailored small business solutions
tickets for my husband, and now I'm in a football bubble. All I see online are DuckDuckGo.
It's showtime at BetMGM Sports with NBA Finals action front and center. Sign up today, winning an easy $100 in free bets. Just place a $1 money line wager on either the Lakers or Heat. If you're the team that's a three-pointer tonight, you win, regardless of your bet's outcome. Be sure to use bonus code JOJB100 when you sign up and make your first bet to take advantage of this offer. There's never been a better time to sign up at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Turn big plays into paydays with quality bonus payouts, boosted odds, special daily promotions, and much more. Every game means something more at BetMGM. Download the app today. Go to BetMGM.com. There must be Jersey restrictions apply. Visit BetMGM.com for a full list of terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If we were living in a fictitious world in which there was no virus, there was no global pandemic, what do you think of them this year?
We'd also deal with... Right.
Yes, there would be a lot of things that are very different. Some good, some bad, as we've just said.
Right.
Like, it's not just the seating, it's the footprint. Like the terraces, and he's got so much stuff. You can spread 30,000 people, and it'll look like, Giant Stadium, or MetLife Stadium had like 5,000 in it.
You don't have to correct yourself. It's still Giant Stadium.
Yeah, that's the reason that it's called Giant Stadium. Yeah, I don't care how green they make that place over there. It don't matter. You know what I mean?
When you look at this Giant offense, and look, Joe said it earlier.
By the way, MetLife stinks, by the way. MetLife should only be what Giant Stadium was, let me tell you that.
Oh, the Giant Stadium was better.
Not even close, Carl.
No doubt. Had personality. This one does.
Yeah.
Whatever. When you look at this Giant offense, we have to score points this week against this dreaded Cowboy defense. We got one of their key players talking about the lack of effort, explaining it away. Why do you think so far over the first few weeks of the season, what do you think has been the biggest problem offensively? Their line looks a little bit better, their running game was a little bit better, but look, it didn't translate into points. So when you diagnose the issues with the offense, number one issue is what right now?
I think it's cohesion. I mean, each week it's something different, but the common denominator is the ball is in the quarterback's hands at the end of the game to win it in two of them. And he made decisions that did not allow them to win the football game. The lack of run game and the execution of the offensive line.
Run last weekend.
I think that because find a way to get my style is a different in play game. So I think if they can get him
Daniel Jones, because he can make a lot of plays with his legs, as we've seen.
Sure. Yeah, I think the design runs have to come within the flow, though. If he's the only guy that they're designed to run the ball to, he becomes a moving target, and they'll hit it. But if they're doing a lot of other things in the run game, and being effective running between the tackles, being effective running outside, then you can get that run pass thing going, and then he becomes the third element in that. But if they're not effective at anything other than Daniel Jones thinking
Ingram, I mean, to me, Giants right now, Ingram will disappointment, so forget that. But there's just not a lot of offensive weapons right now here for the Giants.
Well, the thing about that is, yes, to your point, I don't think Evan Ingram has lived up to a lot of the pace of how you can get the ball. Become pretty predictable as to who better Evan Ingram. And again,
Said the other day that Trey Jones is the magic of motion.
we'll see. At that point right now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're good enough to beat anybody. I'm just going to see what happens.
Well, they don't score 20 points. Let's set the bar at that. It should be higher. If they don't put up 20 points, then there's not enough growth. That's the worst.
Okay, fair. I don't think this game's going to be 10-9, though. I mean, I just don't see that, you know?
I give you that. I give you that. They win that way, fine. Just
Yeah, the Rams were a high-scoring team, too. Let's see what happens.
Only the far left HOV lane gets by, and not all the time. They are still tending to a crash involving a truck. That's why it's a standstill from Jericho Turnpike all the way out past Willis Avenue. Now, the Northern State Parkway is better, yes, but it's not perfect for you. Think about Northern Boulevard through this section of Nassau. Instead, it'll treat you better. Eastbound LI between the rubbernecking and the usual rush hour volume. It's already a mess from Van Dam Street all the way out to Willis Avenue before it gets at least a little bit better. Here's what you need to know about bridges and tunnels. Sitting down George 45 up 30 down, everything out that awful right to the bridge aside from the west side, which is a mess either way to the 90th lane, still down either way with emergency construction. Lincoln Tunnel into the city, no more than 20 minutes. Outbound, it's well over an hour trip between leaving the city and getting past a crash on 495 westbound in the left lane over at Kennedy Boulevard. Holland, 15 in from the Skyway, that 10 from the Turnpike outbound Holland, over an hour. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Wins.
Calling it divisive, ugly, poisoning, disgusting, hurtful, and painful, Governor Cuomo says the Trump campaign is behind violent protesting in Brooklyn over the latest COVID-19 restrictions. This is part of a robocall the governor played today for reporters. No word who that is on that call. Today the governor quoted tweets from City Council candidate Heshi Tischler urging people to print flags that say Cuomo hates Jews. Tischler was seen on video encouraging demonstrators to attack reporter Jacob Pardlow. Mayor de Blasio said today the NYPD expects an arrest in that assault soon. Hours later, Tischler tweeted that cops had called him and he will turn himself in on Monday. Regarding the new restrictions, the governor today said enforcement is enforcement and the state has been consistent all along.
Bars, restaurants, hipsters, whatever, concert in the Hamptons, whenever there is a cluster, we have attacked it. So this is nothing new.
He also noted that while the new red zones make up 2.8% of the total population of the state,
They are 20% of the state's cases. 2% is 20% of the state's cases. 10 times the population.
the infection rate in the hot zones is 6%. Without those zones, the statewide infection rate is 0.9. More bad news about Broadway, which will stay dark a lot longer until at least June 1st of next year.
I know. One reaction here along the Great White Way, this after the Broadway League announced it is extending the shutdown well beyond what had been a tentative reopening date in early January. Gates works in regional theater.
I'm disappointed, but I think that, they're going to find ways to safely do this eventually. And I think until then, we just have to wait it out.
The Broadway League took note of what it will mean to 97,000 actors, musicians, stagehands, and others. Broadway plays and musicals bring in almost $15 billion to the city's economy, and they're one of the things that makes New York, New York. Roger Stern, 1010 Wins on Broadway.
The search is on for a group of teens who brutally attacked a renowned jazz pianist last week in Harlem. Investigators say Tadaka Uno was trying to walk out of the 135th Street subway station when one of the teens claimed that he had bumped her and pushed Uno before her boyfriend screamed that his girl's pregnant and began punching him in the head. Uno tried to run away, but the teens knocked him down and continued the beating. According to a GoFundMe page, Uno was treated at the hospital for a broken collarbone. So far, no arrests. 68 degrees, we have sunny skies now, the humidity 43%, winds are calm. 68, we're headed down to 58 in Central Park, and then tomorrow up to 77. Winds news time 3:45. Word that the president will be hosting an event at the White House tomorrow. We'll have that coming up.
Hi, I'm Lewis. Who could use $500? Are you a New York City employee? 1010 Wins wants to give you a chance to win a $500 gift card. Enter to win at 1010wins.radio.com/go. I'll announce the winners at 1 p.m. on October 24th on Facebook Live.
program is at St. Francis Hospital. And while our approach is rooted in the highest science, it's our culture that's built upon real human understanding. At St. Francis Heart Center, its well-established program at Good Samaritan, and throughout Catholic Health, we believe that when you put people first, the honors will follow. And that means you can have the confidence to trust your heart to ours.
Attention homeowners, if you have a mortgage with Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, or any other major servicer, then you must pay attention. Regulators have reached a multi-million-dollar settlement over foreclosure abuse claims. Your mortgage may be satisfied already. If not, you may be eligible for a principal reduction or a rate reduction as low as 2%. For information, call 800-731-6469. If you've been denied a loan modification, harassed by your bank, stuck in document and voicemail hell, stop the madness and stay in your home. Cassidy, Romano, and Love, attorneys at law, can help. Call 800-731-6469. Are you facing foreclosure? Received a summons or complaint? Behind on your mortgage? Cassidy, Romano, and Love specialize in foreclosure defense, mortgage modification, and will appear in court to defend your rights. Call 800-731-6469. 800-731-6469. Get help now and get protected.
Wins News Time 3:47. President Trump is itching to return to the campaign trail and said today he may even resume campaign rallies this weekend in Florida. Well, CNN quotes sources saying that is not expected to happen. But ABC News says the president will host an event tomorrow at the White House. They say this will feature what an invite calls remarks to peaceful protesters for law and order. This afternoon, the president was on Rush Limbaugh's radio show and declared himself cured of COVID.
Free, I feel perfect. I'm not taking anything, any regimen that they gave me, but it was primarily this one drug.
The president will appear on the Tucker Carlson show on Fox tonight for what will be his first on-camera interview after being diagnosed with the virus. Fox News medical expert Dr. Mark Siegel will reportedly give the president a medical evaluation during the program. Speaking to CBS News, Dr. Anthony Fauci says he's worried that in the wake of the president's apparent recovery, Americans will take the virus less seriously.
Although there's a great deal of variability in the seriousness of the manifestations of disease, with a significant percentage of people having no symptoms at all, and then other people may have mild symptoms, which may stay mild or may turn around and just get serious after a while.
There's also the reality that hardly anyone else received the cocktail of drugs that was given to the president. Meantime, the schedule for the presidential debates is still being debated. Joe Biden says if the president's no longer contagious, he would be willing to do the October 15th town hall. The debate committee decided that would be virtual, but the president said no to that. It is still not clear what's going to happen. Chris Christie remains hospitalized as he recovers from coronavirus. Sources tell CNN that the former New Jersey governor is under observation, but there is no indication that he's on a ventilator. Christie is one of several members of President Trump's inner circle to be infected with COVID-19 after attending a ceremony at the White House where the president introduced Amy Coney Barrett as his pick for the Supreme Court. Christie has been hospitalized since October 3rd. A court ruling on voter registration in a key swing state.
Saying his decision was an incredibly close call, a federal judge has denied a motion to extend voter registration in Florida. That's after a computer meltdown on the final day to sign up to vote. U.S. District Court Judge Mark E. Walker also noted the historical problems the state seems to have with elections. He wrote that just 1 month from Election Day, and with the earliest mail-in ballots already being counted, quote, Florida has done it again. Actually, Hitler.
Looks like the Jets may have been hit by the virus.
The Jets, the latest NFL team to send players home from practice after a player tests positive. NFL Network's Peter Schrager says the team will test that player again, hoping it was a false positive.
If it is positive, if they can remove the player from the building, they can see with the contact tracing, if he essentially infected others, they can check those players again tomorrow and see.
Schrager points out the virus has already scrambled the schedule. Buffalo and Tennessee, for example, are pushed back to Tuesday.
I think the NFL and the Jets and the Cardinals, their opponent, would love to do whatever's possible to have this game be played under safe measures.
Schrager believes they'll be able to get the game in on Sunday and says despite the disruptions, the ratings have been good and he believes the quality of play has been pretty good. New York teams may be the exception. Al Jones, 1010 Wins News.
Wins News Time 3:51. United, here's Greg Rice.
We go back to Nassau County because we are all backed up on the westbound Long Island Expressway over Willis Avenue. Crash involving a truck. Only the HOV lane gets by and not with any regularity anymore. It's a standstill from at least Jericho Turnpike, and that is a multi-mile backup between the usual eastbound rush hour volume and overacting the LI eastbound from right out of the Midtown Tunnel throughout the entirety of Queens and into Nassau. Over to that westbound crash on Willis Avenue. Is the Grand Central Northern State Combo better, you ask? Can't be worse, but it's at least a little bit better. Nothing close to perfection at this hour. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. A whole lot. City outside of the George, 45 up, 30 down. Aside from the west side, everything bad right to the outbound bridge. West side's a standstill either way to the 90s because of emergency construction blocking lanes either way. Holland about 25 in. Outbound Holland, or outbound Lincoln, I should say, is going to cost you well over an hour. Out of the outbound Lincoln, back in New Jersey, 495 westbound at Kennedy Boulevard, a crash in the left lane. Holland is about 15 to 20 minutes in. Outbound Holland is going to cost you an hour. Traffic sponsored by Plaza Jewish Community Chapel. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 West.
We at Plaza Jewish Community Chapel would like to remind you that candle lighting is at 6:06 this evening. Good Shabbos and Shabbat Shalom.
Now the 1010 Winds AccuWeather 4-day forecast sponsored by White Plains Hospital. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Susan, it's going to be a clear night tonight after what's been a very sunny day. Temperatures have been getting close to 70 this afternoon. We'll drop down to 58 tonight, so it will not be as chilly as it was last night. Sunshine, a mix of some clouds tomorrow, a breezy and warmer start to the weekend, a high of 77. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 63. Any morning sun on Sunday will give way to clouds, so we'll see some showers, perhaps reach some Jersey suburbs late in the day. High temperature Sunday not far from 70. And as we get into Sunday night, a steadier rain will likely develop all across the tri-state area, and that's going to continue into Monday. Cloudy and cooler, certainly a chilly rain Monday, high only around 60. Some of the rain could linger into early Tuesday, and we should dry out in the afternoon with clouds trying to break for some sun. Tuesday's high up near 70. 68 degrees right now. It's sunny in Central Park, humidity 43%, and the wind is calm. Repeating the current temperature, 68, going down to 58 in Midtown. Now, AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds. Crime is up. There's confusion about our schools. Businesses are worried. Jobs hang in the balance. These are the toughest of times. But what seems hopeless now will give way to better times.
Through the tragedy of 9/11, the disaster of Hurricane Sandy, and the countless other events that seem to spell the end of this great city, one constant always pulled us through: the belief in the city itself.
I believe in New York is who we are. It's what makes us and keeps us the greatest city in the world.
Over the next weeks and months, 1010 Winds will share stories from the neighborhood to Madison Avenue, from the community organizations and small business owners to the CEOs of industry, all with a single mission: to remind us that we still believe in New York.
No doubt, we have a long way to go, and we will undoubtedly get more bad news.
But it is time to take a stand and fight for the city that needs us as much as we need it. I'm Larry Mullen.
I'm Bridget Quinn.
I'm Lori Madden, and I believe in
New York.
This year has taught us a lot about what's essential. Essential workers, supplies, businesses. But your health, that's essential too. Regular checkups, preventative screenings, and vaccinations, including your annual flu shot, are important. At White Plains Hospital and our physicians' practices, we've exceeded the guidelines to keep you safe, because staying safe means staying healthy. To find a physician, call 914-849-MyMD. That's 914-849-6963. White Plains Hospital. Exceptional. Every day. A member of the Montefiore Health System. Introducing Go Rewards, Stop and Shop's enhanced loyalty program. You can earn points on just about everything you buy to save even more on groceries or gas. It's the perfect time to go and reward yourself with more personalized deals and more ways to choose how you enjoy your savings. Go to stopandshop.com and start earning today. Only at Stop and Shop.
68 degrees now, sunny skies. We're headed down to 58 in Central Park. Winds news time 3:56. Now Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Winds, sponsored by Brain and Spine Surgeons of New York. And here's Andrew O'Day.
There are still hundreds of billions of dollars apart, but the White House has increased the size of its proposal for COVID financial stimulus from $1.6 to $1.8 trillion, closer to the $2.2 trillion already passed by House Democrats. And that's been sparking Wall Street's hope for a deal, even amid warnings from Washington not to get too giddy. Just ahead of the closing bell, Dow up 133, Nasdaq up 150, S&P 500 gaining 28. Big takeover possibility in the microchip business. Advanced Micro Devices is in advanced talks to buy rival Xilinx in a deal valued at $30 billion. Both of those companies trying to catch the market dominance of Intel. Xilinx stock is up 12%. Sounds like the old TV commercials. Millennials have replaced the fine coffee they normally drink with Folgers. That's the conclusion of Mark Smucker, CEO of J.M. Smucker. Along with the host of grocery store staple brands, owns Folgers. Speaking to Bloomberg News, Smucker says during the pandemic, Folgers has regained market share that it slowly had been losing over the decade.
In a second, I'll look on life, watch my son grow up, my daughters grow up, and I just thank you. Thank you very much.
With locations throughout the Hudson Valley and in Stamford, Connecticut, visit Brain and Spine Surgeons of New York at bssny.com. That's bssny.com.
Have you heard? A secret hoard of 1888 Morgan silver dollars has been found. These gorgeous 1888 gold Morgans are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 2,000 of these coins are available. Coin experts are calling the Great Southern Treasury Hoard an incredible opportunity. Just call GovMint at 1-800-973-3094, and you are guaranteed a mint-condition 1888 mint mark. New Orleans Mint. These 132-year-old coins were found in sealed bags that have been untouched since 1888. That makes these unopened bags of Morgan silver dollars extremely rare. To learn more, call 1-800-973-3094. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package. A $10 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-3094 now to secure your 1888 old Morgan silver dollar coins before they sell.
359, 67 degrees now in Long Beach, 72 in West Orange, 69 in Saddlebrook. Here's your 10-10 winds AccuWeather forecast. A mostly clear night tonight, down to 58 degrees. The sunshine mixing with some clouds, breezy, and a lot warmer tomorrow. We'll get up to 77. Partly cloudy, 63 tomorrow night, and then on Sunday, morning sun giving way to clouds. We're looking at rain that arrives first in some parts of New Jersey in the afternoon, then in the city toward the evening. 70 on Sunday. Rain Sunday night into Monday. It is 68 and sunny, going down to 58. More people get their news from 1010 Winds than from any other radio station in the nation. Bob Paul is our studio producer. Oliver Sampson, the service aide. Walter Geis is the writer. Justin Traeger is at the editor's desk. I'm Susan Richards.
There's the closing bell on Wall Street. This is Andrew O'Day. Bloomberg higher finish to the day and the week for the market. The Dow is ending up 162. Nasdaq up 159.
All news, all the time. This is Channel 10. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon, 68 degrees, sunny skies. It is 4 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. A robocall. Governor Cuomo says egged on by the Trump campaign behind those protests in Borough Park. The governor says the voice on the phone message also targets him, and he's concerned that people could get hurt. We've got the audio. The campus of Foster and a private home in Merrick under investigation for anti-Semitic activity after 8 emblems were found. Officials say somebody actually carved a swastika into the walls of an elevator at the school. The hate crime task force has been called in. Some non-fans are probably going to say they obviously don't use their practice field anyway, but still, nobody wants our beloved Jets to get sick, so as a precaution, they sent the whole team home today after it appears one player might have come down with the coronavirus. And how'd you like to telecommute from someplace else besides your house? Coming up, we've got a story about a theme park where people can pull out their laptops and get some work done, make a little money for their attraction, too. It's Friday, your ride home news begins right now. AccuWeather is mostly sunny and nice out. Get to a high of 68 degrees. Wind chill sign 401. And from the traffic center, good afternoon to Greg Rice.
Mr. Mullins, good afternoon to you. What an awful afternoon, though, across the Hudson River. The city downside of the George Washington Bridge. We're looking at least 45 minutes up, 30 minutes down. We had an earlier crash in the crosswalks, and then we just never recovered. Everything aside from the west side being right for the bridge. What's different about the west side highway, you ask? And we tell you, the west side highway is an absolute standstill item in the 90s. All day long, we've had emergency construction, knocking down multiple lanes either way. Now we get word of a northbound crash in the 150s just to add insult to injury. Lincoln Tunnel
30 to 45 in, over an hour, closer to 90 minutes overall on the outbound Lincoln Tunnel journey between Lead and Manhattan, getting through the tunnel, and then past a crash on 495 westbound over near Kennedy Boulevard back in Jersey. Holland Tunnel, either one of your approaches, going to run you at least 25 minutes. You'll spend the bulk of that time on the Newark Bay extension, getting on to the Newark Bay Bridge, the eastbound Skyway span right before the tunnel, and then out of Lower Manhattan, well over an hour already at the outbound Holland, just because. Staten Island Expressway, hope you've gotten used to this. We've got that standstill highway again over to Victory Boulevard, and the westbound LA in Nassau over at Willis Avenue, a crash involving a truck, hitting maybe one lane open and definitely a standstill from Jericho Turnpike. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Wins.
Flat rate junk removal is your no headache, no hassle, affordable, reliable solution to junk removal. You call, they haul. Flat rate junk removal. Call now. 1-800-299-JUNK. That's 1-800-299-JUNK. Okay, so you know about the protest played out in Borough Park this week in the wake of the crackdown on neighborhoods where the governor says a lot of people are basically ignoring the rules about social distancing and wearing masks. But now listen to this. Governor Cuomo says a robocall prompted those protests. Violent this week, and he thinks the Trump campaign is behind it. And the voice on the call, which the governor played today, urges folks to come up with signs which some say some pretty disturbing things about the governor. Which, family, this controversy does not stop, does it? 1010 West reporter Sonia Rincon leading us home this afternoon.
The governor played part of a robocall that went out to members of the Hasidic community earlier this week, urging people to bring signs to a rally saying Cuomo killed thousands.
The more time we have to figure the national outcry will be tonight at Fifth Avenue or Roundhouse as the system goes. Everybody should hold a sign, Cuomo killed thousands, and Trump defeated America, and hold as many as big signs as possible.
The voice in the call refers to both the Trump campaign and activist Tashi Tishler, who would later be seen egging on the group of men attacking reporter Jacob Kornblum. Cuomo says if the Trump campaign is involved, it's putting lives in danger in an area with a growing infection rate.
Some of those people will die. Was the Trump campaign saying? Play politics. Play politics. It's disgusting.
But not illegal where the protests were peaceful. The attack on Kornblum, though, he says, was criminal. Sonia Rincon, 1010 Wins News.
It's no secret President Trump has staked a large part of his re-election campaign on a law and order platform, stoking fears among suburbanites with images of burning and looting in big cities. It also weathered criticisms that his rhetoric has only heightened tensions between far-right groups and protesters on the left. A comment from the White House and the governor's claim that those robocalls were spurred by the Trump campaign. As for the numbers here, there's a 5.4% positive rate in the so-called red zones compared to the rest of the state, which is 0.9. When you toss in the red zone statewide, we're at 1.1%. That's why they're trying to knock those pockets back down. There's a big investigation going on at Hofstra after anti-Semitic graffiti was found carved into the elevator walls at a residence hall. Apparently, there have been at least 2 incidents, according to a message from the school's president in Hempstead. Stuart Rabinowitz says these hateful acts are a profound betrayal of our values as a university and a community. He says we condemn discrimination, bias, and prejudice in all its forms. Meantime, Nassau police say they're looking into a bias incident in Merrick after a homeowner found a swastika etched in the cement of a driveway on Bryant Drive. Governor Cuomo says, "What is this?" He says, "I'm appalled and disgusted to learn of these heinous acts of hate." He assured the homeowner in Merrick and the Hofstra community that the persons responsible will be brought to justice. The governor has put the Hate Crimes Task Force on it to help police in their investigation. And the New York Jets now add them to the list of football teams grounded because of the coronavirus. Al Jones says everybody got sent home today after a player got a presumed positive test. A positive test in Jets camp sent the players home and team officials scrambling with hopes that their protocol would still allow Sunday's game against Arizona.
I think they're going to try to play this game regardless of who it is. If it's not a player that is really a key integral piece who gives it the most people in the building.
The NFL Network's Peter Schrager believes the league has done a pretty good job handling the pandemic despite being postponements and a rather jumbled schedule.
It's really interesting. The quality of play, even without a preseason or an actual training camp, it's really good. The offense is scoring points, and the fan interest is really high.
Of course, around here, we would just settle for one in the win column. Al Jones, 1010 Wins News. I knew he was going to say that. AccuWeather says he'll partly cloudy skies tonight. Not quite as chilly as last night. We'll do on 58. Tomorrow, sun mixing with some clouds, breezy and much warmer in the afternoon. A high of 77 and low 63 tomorrow night. And then Sunday, any morning sun we get is going to give way to clouds. Some showers could reach some New Jersey
1010wins.com. Now, Speaker Nancy Pelosi rolled out some legislation today that will allow Congress to intervene under the 25th Amendment to remove the president, although she says this is about President Trump, but rather a need for greater congressional oversight of his White House. She's been raising questions about Trump's mental fitness since his COVID-19 diagnosis and demanding more transparency about his health. The bill will allow a commission to assess the president's ability to lead.
This bill honors the duty by the president, creating a standing commission of top former executive officials and medical experts selected in a bipartisan and bicameral way. A president's fitness for office must be determined by science and fact.
This comes 1 year before after the House closed impeachment proceedings against President Trump. He says this is not about Trump, adding, based on judgment of voters, it is hard to be president with a group. Raising Nancy Pelosi is looking at the 25th Amendment in order to replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris. We're back in the morning Wednesday, it's time for World Time. When it comes to the radio, we all want to reach it right over the time.
Experience amazing. See your Lexus dealer. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Wins.
All right,
pleasant day to spend some time outside. A high of 77, only down to 63 tomorrow night. The cloudy sky. Any morning sun will give way to clouds on Sunday. We'll have some showers that could reach some New Jersey suburbs late in the day. Sunday's high close to 70. Rain will tend to overspread the rest of the tri-state Sunday night. And we'll consider to see rain much of the time Monday on a cloudy, damp, and chilly day. High 60. Some lingering rain early Tuesday, then drying out in the afternoon as clouds may try to break late. Tuesday's high around 70. 68 degrees right now. It is sunny in Midtown. We're going down to 58 tonight. I'm Andrew with the meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, Pennsville.
Well, here's something different if you're trying to find a new and unusual space to break up the monotony of working from home. Listen to this from Lisa Mateo.
A theme park in the western Tokyo suburbs is coming up with a creative way to make up for business lost during the pandemic. It's offering to spice up your work from home atmosphere by placing you in a poolside work booth with Wi-Fi and outlets. As part of the deal, you can also spend up to 1 hour working from inside the giant Ferris wheel. The amusement workstation package costs $18 for one person and $34 for a pair.
Can you imagine working on that spreadsheet while riding the roller coaster up at Six Flags? Woo, what a concept. Where's news time? 4:14.
This is Charlie. This is Dixie. And we're starting a podcast. Super dark, super fun. It's Charlie and Dixie. We're going to be talking about tea, friendships, besties, ships. No, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We hope to share all parts of our lives. So make sure to subscribe to Charlie and Dixie, two chicks on radio.com.
The Bergen County Care Small Business Grant Program is expanding. Now, small businesses with up to 30, that's 30 full-time employees, can apply for up to $10,000 at BergenCountyCares.org now through October 30th. Funds do not need to be repaid. Applications are open for all Bergen County small businesses with 1 to 30 full-time employees. Visit BergenCountyCares.org and apply today.
What's news time? 4:14. Okay, everybody, we need to talk about Delta here. Louisiana preparing for that hurricane, expected to strike sometime tonight. It's a Cat 2 right now, but is gaining strength as it barrels across the Gulf. Correspondent David Bayo is near Jennings, Louisiana.
Jen Shirley and her 4 kids packed up their rental home yesterday to evacuate yet again. The family relocated to Broussard just over a month ago after Hurricane Laura damaged their home in Lake Charles. But now, Hurricane Delta is forcing the Shirleys to leave their Broussard refuge. Evacuating again. I'm worried about the debris.
There's so many people in Lake Charles.
Rain bands from the storm have already started soaking the same area where Hurricane Laura caused death and destruction just 4 to 6 weeks ago. Delta is the latest in a recent flurry of rapidly intensifying Atlantic hurricanes, which scientists largely blame on global warming. Another drug that's widely used for treating diabetes now on the recall list because the manufacturer found it contained very high levels of a cancer-causing contaminant. Markset's Pharma Limited says metformin, which is sold in extended-release tablets, has an unacceptable level of NDMA, the human carcinogen, and the recall was published by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The tabs are used to treat type 2 diabetes and designed to lower glucose levels. The recall involves the 500 milligram and 750 milligram tablets sold under the name Time Cap Labs Inc. Remember that, folks? At least 7 other drug companies have also recalled those tablets. FDA is still trying to figure out where and how the NDMA ends up in metformin products. You can go to the FDA's website to look up the numbers. There are too many of them to name. I don't want to confuse you here on the radio. So, no doubt, Halloween will be a little bit different during the pandemic, but that doesn't stop Eastbound George, 45 up 30 minutes down. There was an earlier crash in the Cross Bronx. We never recovered that close to the long week for a lot of people. And George stays so bad. 30 to 45 at the inbound Lincoln, 60 to 90 out because of the earlier 495 westbound. Holland 30 in front of the Newark Bay down the Newark Bay Bridge, entering down from the Skyway. Outbound Holland, well over an hour already. Hidden fees for internet and phone service. Unlike other providers, there's no more guesswork trying to figure out how much you all spend every month. If it's bad for business, you don't know. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 West.
Things were relatively quiet in Merrill Park last night, aside of 2 nights of protests which turned violent, all in the wake of a focused crackdown on COVID rule violators, in the wake of increasing coronavirus numbers. But today, the focus was on a robocall call that surfaced during a briefing with the governor. Listen to this.
Everybody to come out with signs. Cuomo killed them. Come to 8th Avenue and all big signs. Cuomo killed them as many as possible, as big as possible. The more signs we have, the bigger the national outcry will be.
A tape obtained by the Daily News, that Governor Cuomo believes the Trump campaign is behind it, and further believes such calls triggered those street protests this week.
The Trump campaign is to inflame divisions. Meanwhile, they're putting people's lives at risk. 20% of the cases coming from these districts. 20% to 20%. Some of those people will die. What's the Trump campaign saying? Play politics. Play politics.
No comment from the Trump campaign about it. For months, the president has lambasted liberal leaders in big cities like New York for not putting an end to protests. Mr. Trump has threatened, in fact, to defund those cities. Oh, no, say it isn't so. The lights will remain dim down on Broadway until the spring. And so, refunds and exchanges for everybody who bought tickets to May. Roger Stern.
One reaction here along the Grapevine Way is like the Broadway. It is extending the shutdown well beyond what had been a tentative reopening date in early January. It's works in regional theater.
I'm disappointed, but I think that, we're going to find ways to safely do this eventually. And I think until then, we just have to wait it out.
Broadway leads up now. What this will mean to 97,000 actors, musicians, stagehands, and others. Broadway plays and musicals bring in almost $15 billion to the city's economy, and they're one of the things that makes New York, New York.
It's on Broadway. In New Jersey, 881 more. And 6 additional deaths as the state warns people that the COVID-19 numbers are going the wrong direction, and that a second wave could be on the horizon. Hospitalizations increased for a 6th straight day. Governor Murphy says even though the statewide rate of transmission is at 1.19, says we're still in a struggle, everybody, and anybody who tells you otherwise is not paying attention to the facts. He says meantime, towns that have taken on extra and unexpected costs related to the pandemic may soon be getting a break. Governor Murphy and his News Doctors announced an initial $1 million investment of federal coronavirus relief funds to provide direct relief to local governments for costs they have incurred in fighting this pandemic. Another main emergency fund is for municipalities that didn't get anything directly from the Fed stimulus. He says it involves at least 12 of the state's 21 counties. Somerset, Mercer, Gloucester, and Sussex are on that list. It includes money for public safety and health, signage, remote technology, refitting spaces for social distancing, that sort of thing. Money comes from the state's allotment of federal CARES Act money. With news time 426. Why do I keep getting the time wrong here? With news time 426. Good time moving. Here's Andrew O'Day. Higher figures for the market today. The Dow rose 161, NASDAQ up 159, S&P 500 added 30. Uncertainty surrounds the status of COVID financial stimulus talks in Washington. Senate Leader McConnell stated today that neither a comprehensive relief deal nor one specifically for the airline business seems likely before Election Day. The National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow also said today that the president has approved a revised package that helped make Wall Street's general sentiment and the indexes positive. I know a lot of people were confused. Microsoft, with 150,000 employees, will allow all those able to work from home to do so permanently, at least part of the time. Company memo states workers will be allowed to work from home for less than half of their work week and could work from home entirely if approved by their manager. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Andrew O'Day for 1010 Wins.
All right, producer, engineer Bob Carr. I figured out why I'm trying to rush the time here. I can smell the oxtail stew I got going there, burning in the kitchen. That's what's up with that. Trying to get to it. Back in a moment. Wednesday news time, 427.
If you're a registered New York voter and need an absentee ballot, don't wait. The deadline to request your ballot is coming soon. Visit vote411.org now to learn more and request your absentee ballot today. That's vote411.org. Remember, every vote counts.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm Dr. Paul Gooch. I'm an optometric physician at Southwest Vision in St. George, Utah. We have a practice on primary eye care, medical eye care. We know nutrition affects the health of the eyes. There are several diseases where nutrition plays a role that we've identified. So I do recommend Balance of Nature to my patients. It's almost a self-evident truth to me that if they eat a healthy diet that's rich in fruits and vegetables, they're going to give their bodies the rich source of biochemistry they need to have their best chance of being healthy.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code NEWS.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms but could never figure it out. No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable. But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms. Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
This is Time That Matters, a window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. Schedule their visit now. Sponsored by Merck.
Oh, beautiful night tonight to start the weekend. Clear and partly cloudy, not as chilly as last night, a low of 58 degrees. And then tomorrow we'll get sun mixing with clouds, breezy and much warmer in the afternoon. We'll reach a high of 77. Right now, 68 degrees, headed for 58 in Midtown. Good afternoon, I'm Larry Mullins. Wednesday news time at the tone, 4:30.
Good afternoon, I'm Lori Madden. Farewell to a legend. The Yankees and fans are remembering Whitey Ford today. Ford died last night at his home on Long Island at the age of 71. Yankees radio announcer John Sterling says Whitey Ford's New York confidence came through even as a young up-and-comer. He was in the minors, 1949, and the Yankees were in a pennant race.
And he actually either wrote or called the Yankees and said, "You want to win, bring me up." He was probably 19 or 20 at the time.
Ford went on to win a record 236 games, 11 pennants, and 6 World Series. He remained loyal to his pinstripes, attending old-timers games where Sterling was honored to introduce him.
You read all of his accomplishments, and here he is, the chairman of the board, Edward Charles Whitey Ford. Well, the place would go nuts.
Whitey Ford, a true New York champion. Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins News. Wednesday's time, 4:31. Time for traffic and transit. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, Lori, good afternoon to you. Bad afternoon in Brooklyn. Outbound Gowanus coming down towards the belt split. You got a multi-car crash. Looks like you got a pickup truck spun halfway around. You got the left lane knocked out in an absolute mess from at least McGinnis Boulevard down towards the outbound Gowanus. This is a whole lot worse than usual on the westbound BQE Gowanus combination. Northbound Whitestone, Nevada Wick combination. Well, you don't move from the L line to the Whitestone Bridge. Stay with the Clearview. That does better. Let's give you better news on the westbound side of the Long Island Expressway getting over to Willis Avenue. Everything's been reopened. They cleaned up the earlier fuel spill on the Speedy Drive they threw down. They got all lanes open, but they still had a stand scheduled to the 1067. Eastbound LI worse than usual, if that's even possible, from right around Van Dam Street all the way back into Nassau County. Northern State Parkway, that jammed up with all the alternate volume. That's a mess either way. over to Willis Avenue. Think about Hillside Avenue or Jericho Turnpike, even Hempstead Turnpike as well. Southern State Parkway, that's not it. Westbound, it's a mess from 109 over to Eagle Avenue. Eastbound jams up pretty much from the Cross Island, getting out to the Bethpage Parkway. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound George, 45 up, 30 down, nothing easy. Outbound Lincoln Tunnel, 30 in, 60 to 90 out because of an earlier westbound crash. Holland, 20 to 30 in from the Turnpike. Better, only a little bit though from the Skyway. Outbound side of the Holland, well over an hour on the west side of S either way through the 90s. Lanes down either way for emergency repair work. Brooklyn bound Brooklyn Bridge still with a right lane shut with police activity. That's why it's a mess on the southbound FDR from the Midtown Tunnel, and you've got gridlock in Lower Manhattan getting to the bridge. Traffic sponsored by Margaret Teets Nursing and Rehabilitation. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Wins.
When you need commitment, compassion, and customized care, call Margaret Teets Nursing and Rehabilitation, offering short and long-term care. Margaret Teets Nursing and Rehabilitation is a facility unlike any other. Call 718-298-7800. That's 718-298-7800. Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here is meteorologist Brian Thompson.
It's got a nice afternoon without a lot of sunshine. Very comfortable temperatures, pretty close to 70. As much wind as what we had yesterday, although the breeze kicked up a little bit late this afternoon. Well, the third part of the cloudy sky tonight will not be as chilly as last night, though 58. Will be breezy and much warmer in the afternoon, high 77. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 63. We'll start with perhaps a little bit of sunshine Sunday morning. That sun will fade behind clouds. Some of the moisture from Hurricane Delta will be sliding our way as we head towards Sunday night especially. There could be some spotty showers in some New Jersey suburbs by late Sunday afternoon. High close to 70, but again, the steadier rain looks to be Sunday night into Monday. Monday's high only 60 with the rain. Lingering early Tuesday, but then drying out in the afternoon as clouds will try to break. A high of 70. 68 right now. It's sunny in Midtown. We're going down to 58. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's Weather Station, 1010 West.
Our Tahitian Way, New Jersey State to keep our 2020 election safe, simple, and secure. All active registered voters automatically receive their ballots by mail. How you return it is up to you. Learn more at vote.nj.gov. Wednesday's time, 4:34. The White House is now upping its offer to as much as $1.8 trillion on a coronavirus relief measure, even as Mitch McConnell casts doubt on a pre-election package. Correspondent Andy Field says the president has been pushing the effort after he initially killed new talks this week.
President Trump holding a virtual rally on the Rush Limbaugh radio show, announcing he wants to give Americans more COVID relief after saying Democrats were demanding too much.
I would like to see a bigger package. I'd like to see money going to people. It was not their fault.
But the Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says it's not likely there will be any extra unemployment or business aid before the election.
A spokesman for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin spoke by phone for more than 30 minutes today. Wednesday's time, 4:35. The 17-year-old charged with murdering two protesters and attempting to kill a third during the Jacob Blake protests in Wisconsin remains in custody in his home state of Illinois as his attorneys fight efforts to extradite him. Kyle Rittenhouse appeared on video before a judge today. The judge set a new hearing date for October 30th. Rittenhouse's attorney, Mike Needham, claims the white teenager has been subjected to threats.
Threats in Wisconsin, threats here, threats against his family here. There's been all sorts of threats on social media on this case.
His attorneys say Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense and that extraditing him to Wisconsin would violate his constitutional rights. A Princeton dorm named for Woodrow Wilson is being rebuilt and named for a black woman who graduated from the university in 1991. Melanie Hobson, the co-CEO of Ariel Investments and who heads up the Hobson-Lucas Family Foundation with her husband, Star Wars creator George Lucas, is also a donor to the school and contributed seed money for the reconstruction. She said when she was approached about the project, she was compelled by the symbolism of a black woman replacing the name of someone who would not have supported her admission to the school 3 decades ago. 68 degrees now, sunny in New York. Wednesday's time, 4:36.
SNL rocks a musical replacement this weekend. 1010 Wins Entertainment is next.
Hi, it's Lee Harris. My wife and I were talking about getting our bath done for about 10 years, but we couldn't agree on who and how until we found Bath Fitters. With more than 35 years in business and more than 2 million installations, we were convinced we could trust the experts at Bath Fitter. They've got a lifetime warranty for as long as you own your home, and they'll finish the job in as little as 1 day with no mess and no demolition. Get 0% interest for 30 months. Call 877-792-BATH. That's 877-792-BATH.
Whether class is in school, at home, or a little bit of both, school goes on.
And Staples has everything your student needs at amazing prices. From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to project boards.
This week, Staples #2 pencils, marbleized comp books, 2-pocket polyfolders, and 24-pack Crayola crayons.
Shop in store, pick up curbside, or order online.
School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 10/10 while supplies last. Limits vary online and in store. Curbside available in most stores. This is time that matters. A window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. This is your window of protection. Schedule their well visit now. Brought to you by Merck.
The Bristol Assisted Living is proud to join 1010 Wins in saying, I believe in New York. The Bristol provides the finest in senior living throughout the tri-state area for more than 20 years. Schedule your visit today at thebristol.com. That's the BRISTAL.com. Weekday time, 4:38 now. 1010 Wins Entertainment on Jack White has been announced as this weekend's musical guest on Saturday Night Live after the country star Morgan Wallen was shown the door. Wallen was disinvited after he was seen partying without a mask in large crowds. SNL is back before a live studio audience following COVID protocols. Comedian Bill Burr is guest host. New music from Stevie Nicks today. Nick says the track Show Them the Way started out as a poem more than a decade ago, and that it's a prayer for our country. The film Stevie Nicks 24-karat gold, the concert, will be released in theaters October 21st. Wednesday's time, 4:30, 1010 Wins, and laborers local 731 are proud to honor our city workers for city heroes. The fire was so intense it seemed impossible that anyone could survive. But to the firefighters who responded to the two-story home on North Avenue in the Bronx, the impossible is what they do on a regular basis. 3 girls, all under the age of 8, were rescued by the FDNY and rushed to nearby Jacoby Hospital in critical but stable condition. One firefighter said the difference between life and death was about 60 seconds. All 17 members of the FDNY responding to the blaze are this week's City Workers, City Heroes.
Laborers Local 731 has been responsible for some of the biggest and most celebrated infrastructure projects in New York City, like the rebuild of the World Trade Center and the new LaGuardia Airport. Local 731 provides qualified and competent laborers to fill the demand that the construction industry not only requires but deserves. Its members and leadership have fought hard for wages and benefits that open the path to the middle class that every hardworking American deserves. Laborers Local 731. Feel the power.
Live and local, 24/7, 1010 Wins.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
It's 68 degrees and 440 on Lori Minton, and here's what's happening. A federal judge in Florida says Governor Cuomo's coronavirus restrictions in new hotspots can go forward after a National Orthodox Jewish organization filed suit challenging the order. A day after 6 men were charged in a domestic terror plot to kidnap and kill Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The threats haven't stopped, and she's pointing fingers at President Trump. House Democrats introduced a bill that would allow Congress to intervene under the 25th Amendment to remove a president, but Speaker Pelosi insists it's not about the current president. Sending greetings and cocaine, a Queens pharmacist is accused of mailing a drug-filled card to a DEA agent in a bid at intimidation. 1010 Winds AccuWeather says clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 58. Partly sunny and warmer tomorrow, high 77. Might see some rain late in the day on Sunday.
This is Andrew O'Day of Bloomberg. Rising hope for a deal in Washington to help people and businesses hurt by the pandemic. Helped stocks rise today. The Dow added 161.
Winds News Time 441. Time for traffic and transit. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, Lori, it is not a summer weekend, although the traffic on the Garden State Parkway might fool you into thinking that it is. Southbound Parkway, you got a mess clear across the Driscoll Bridge, again coming down towards Mattawan, and then pretty much from Route 33 all the way on down towards Toms River. This is as bad as it is on a Friday between Memorial Day and Labor Day. The warm weather tomorrow and the holiday weekend for a lot of people playing a factor there. Complete other side of our area, we'll go to the Mario Cuomo Bridge, Rockland bound at absolute standstill right off of the bridge getting into Nyack. A breakdown blocks 2 lanes. The Mario Cuomo Bridge and across Westchester getting you there out of White Plains. It is all an absolute standstill. Through Westchester, stay with the New England Thruway. The Hutch is a whole lot worse. Rest of the bridges and tunnels, here's what you need to know. City-bound George, 45 up, 30 minutes down, no easy way out. And the West Side Highway, either way, an absolute standstill either way to the 90s, with emergency construction still knocking out lanes either way. 30 plus at the inbound Lincoln. A lot of that time spent on the merge between Route 3 and the Eastern Spur. Outbound Lincoln still well over an hour because of earlier trouble back on the Jersey side. Holland, 20 to 30 minutes in now from either approach. Outbound side of the Holland Tunnel, we are looking at least an hour getting you out of Lower Manhattan and back to Jersey. Outbound Gowanus, Brooklyn before the belt split. Multi-car crash has the left lane shut. You're slow as a result. Back for Queens. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Winds.
Wednesday time, 4:43. A federal judge in Brooklyn says Governor Cuomo's reimposed coronavirus restrictions can move forward after the Agadah Israel of America, a national Orthodox Jewish organization, filed suit challenging the order. According to the New York Times, Judge Kio Matsumoto said she sympathized with the order's impact on the Orthodox Jewish community, but she ultimately rejected the argument that the order was unconstitutional. Meanwhile, the governor is blasting a robocall, allegedly at the behest of the Trump campaign, that he says put lives in danger as it encouraged protest in Borough Park. Governor Cuomo played a robocall he says went out before the protests in Borough Park earlier this week, recruiting demonstrators and telling them what their signs should say.
We just hung up the phone with a group of us going and are in touch with the Trump campaign. They're urging everybody to come out with signs. Cuomo killed thousands.
The voice in the call goes on to say the more signs, the more national attention they'd get, again mentioning the Trump campaign and activist Heshi Tischler, who Cuomo says tweeted that same day about what kinds of signs people should bring. Cuomo tweets.
Urgent. Who can print Cuomo hates Jews and Cuomo killed thousands on flags? 2:06 p.m., 10/7/20.
That evening, Tischler would be seen on video egging on the men who attacked journalist Jacob Kornblue. Cuomo says the people responsible should be arrested. He said that attack was not peacefully protesting. Sonia Rincon, 1010 Winds News. Winds News time 4:44. A day after 6 men were charged in an alleged domestic terror plot that included the kidnapping of Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The Democrat says the threats haven't stopped. Another 7 people were charged in connection with this case. Whitmer said leading the charge has been the nation's top Republican, President Trump, who tweeted attacks on her last night.
You know what? A decent human being would pick up the phone and say, "Are you okay? How's your family doing?" That's what a decent human being does. That's what Joe Biden did. And I think it tells you everything you need to know about the character of the 2 people that are vying to lead our country for the next 4 years.
Whitmer says the president stoked the hate and that his administration has been complicit. She has been disparaged for months by the right because of her coronavirus restrictions. Whitmer called the suspects sick and depraved men. Winds News time 4:45. The end is near for the Tombs. The notorious Manhattan detention complex will be shut down before the end of November. The Department of Correction laid out its plans today and says the Otis Bantam Correctional Center on Rikers Island will also be closed. The moves are part of the city's continuing process of moving to 4 safer, modern, borough-based facilities. Our coverage will continue in just a moment on 1010 Winds. Winds News time 4:46.
Attention homeowners, if you have a mortgage with Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, or any other major servicer, and you must pay attention. Regulators have reached multi-million-dollar settlement over foreclosure abuse claims. Your mortgage may be satisfied already. If not, you may be eligible for a principal reduction or a rate reduction as low as 2%. For information, call 800-731-6469. If you've been denied a loan modification, harassed by your bank, stuck in document and voicemail hell, stop the madness and stay in your home. Cassidy Romano and Love, attorneys at law, can help. Call 800-731-6469. Are you facing foreclosure? Received a summons or complaint? Behind on your mortgage? Cassidy Romano and Love specialize in foreclosure defense, mortgage modification, and they'll appear in court to defend your rights. Call 800-731-6469. 800-731-6469. Get help now and get protected.
Wednesday's time, 4:47. The Jets are sent home after a COVID diagnosis. That story is next.
Molly Maid of Central Queens is New York's best cleaning company. Molly Maid of Central Queens is offering discount memberships to our residential customers. 1-hour cleaning services start at just $50 a week or $65 every 2 weeks. Molly Maid of Central Queens cleaning professionals arrive fully equipped with PPEs and use an electrostatic spray gun with Reticide, New York's #1 disinfectant. Call Molly Maid of Central Queens today at 718-395-2850. 718-395-2850. Molly Maid of Central Queens services New York's best businesses. If you own a restaurant, gym, movie theater, office, or church that needs to be cleaned, call Molly Maid of Central Queens. Inquire about Molly Maid of Central Queens commercial pricing for their cleaning certification service that is guaranteed to pass DOH inspections. For deep cleaning and sanitization for home or business, call Molly Maid of Central Queens at 718-395-2850. 718-395-2850.
Wednesday's time, 4:48. The Jets are hit with a COVID call.
The Jets, the latest NFL team to send players home from practice after a player tests positive. NFL Network's Peter Schrager says the team will test that player again, hoping it was a false positive.
Positive if they can remove the player from the building and they can see with the contact tracing if he had potentially infected others, they could check those players again tomorrow and see.
Schrager points out the virus has already scrambled the schedule. Buffalo and Tennessee, for example, are pushed back to Tuesday.
I think the NFL and the Jets and the Cardinals, their opponent, would love to do whatever's possible to have this game be played under safe measures.
Schrager believes they'll be able to get the game in on Sunday and says despite the disruptions, the ratings have been good and he believes the quality of play has been pretty good. New York teams may be the exception. Al Jones, 1010 Wins News.
Wednesday's time, 4:49. The families of baseball legend Jackie Robinson and civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. are calling out the Trump campaign for using images of the two men in a new ad. Sharon Robinson tweeted that the Trump campaign is in opposition to all that Jackie Robinson stood for and believed in. The Reverend Bernice King said she found the use of her father's image in the political ad beyond insulting. The campaign has not commented. House Democrats unveiled new legislation that would establish a panel to determine a president's fitness for office under the 25th Amendment. Correspondent Ines de la Pratera has more. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi explaining the new legislation would apply to future presidents, not President Trump. This is not about President Trump. He will face the judgment of the voters. But he shows the need for us to create a process for future presidents. The bill aims to create a commission on presidential capacity that would evaluate the mental or physical fitness of a sitting president. The commission would not include any congressional members. Instead, be comprised of 8 medical professionals chosen equally by congressional Democrats and Republicans, 8 former executive branch members, and a sitting vice president. President Trump tweeted in part, "Crazy Nancy Pelosi is looking at the 25th Amendment in order to replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris." Wednesday's time, 4:50. Federal prosecutors say a Queens pharmacist mailed a cocaine-filled greeting card to a DEA agent's home in a bid at intimidation. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District says the DEA began investigating the pharmacy, which the Daily News is identifying as Nikki's Pharmacy in Flushing, over a regulatory issue involving the distribution of controlled substances. The pharmacist, identified in court papers as Demetrios Limbarakis, with 1 count of obstruction of justice and 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice. Wednesday's time, 4:51. Time for traffic and transit. Here's Greg Rice.
trouble in Brooklyn outbound Gowanus just before the Milton Parkway split. We are dealing with an accident. You've got at least a left lane knocked out. In addition to the cops, I now see an ambulance on scene, and I see a mess a whole lot worse than usual all the way back into Queens along the westbound side of the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The VQE mess is going to make all of your lower East River crossings that much worse. The Brooklyn Bridge does not need the help. The Brooklyn-bound Brooklyn Bridge closer to the Brooklyn side, you still have the right lane knocked out because of ongoing emergency police activity. That's why the FDR is a standstill from the UN all the way down to lower Manhattan streets leading to the Brooklyn Bridge are absolutely gridlocked. Here's what you need to know about the rest of the bridges and tunnels. City-bound side of the George Washington Bridge, we are looking at least an hour. The upper 45 to the lower, everything, and I mean everything outbound is awful, including the southbound Henry Hudson Parkway. West side either way, also a standstill into the 90s with emergency construction. Lincoln 30 plus on the inbound ride. Outbound Lincoln still well over an hour because of earlier trouble on 495. It's over an hour at the outbound Holland just because inbound side of the Holland 20 to 30 now from Iger approach. Staten Island bound Goppel's a standstill because of the ongoing paving operations on the eastbound Staten Island Expressway over to the MLK. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 West.
They've cared for you all your life. Now it's your turn to care for them. Look to Arch Care, a health system dedicated to helping you care for those you love. Call 855-951-CARE or visit archcare.org. That's archcare.org. Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here is meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Well, Lori, it's not going to be quite as chilly tonight as it was last night. We'll have a clear to partly cloudy sky, a low down to 58. Sunshine will mix us some clouds tomorrow. Will be breezy, much warmer in the afternoon, high 77. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, low 63. Then for Sunday, we'll start with some sunshine. Now that sun will start to give way to clouds. We could see some showers across portions of New Jersey by late in the day. But most of the day, Sunday is going to be dry with high pretty close to 70. Now a steady rain will develop Sunday night, a low down to 56 as some of the leftover moisture from what is now Hurricane Delta, which is just about ready to make landfall in Louisiana. Some of that leftover moisture will start to make it toward our area Sunday night into Monday. Could be a pretty good soaking rain for a time on Monday with a cloudy sky, a high near 60. Lingering rain early Tuesday will give way to some sunshine late, high 70. 68 right now, sunny in Midtown, and way down to 58. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds.
With this time, 4:53, 1010 Winds celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month. One Dominican-American entrepreneur is helping shake up old beauty standards. Today we honor Shirley Tavares. Shirley Tavares grew up spending hours getting her hair straightened with her mom.
Thinking back to it, I cannot believe I wasted so much of my life in a salon and so much money.
She would hear the term pelo malo, bad hair, essentially shaving hair texture that comes with having some African ancestry.
The word Afro-Latina never was ever spoken of. In my family, within my friends, it was just never a thing that we talked about. We never really talked about where we came from. And I love that it's something that people are talking about now because it just ties into the whole pelo malo thing.
Her business, House of Curls, took off when she made a statement t-shirt that said pelo malo where. It was the first of many accessories with messages rejecting those old beauty standards.
And they all are kind of like conversation starters. When people see the pelo malo wear shirts, they ask, what is that about?
She says it's all about inspiring positivity and confidence, especially for younger girls, so they can embrace not just their curls, but their culture. Celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, I'm Sonia Rincon, 1010 Wins. For much more on Hispanic Heritage Month, visit 1010wins.com/Hispanic Heritage. Wins News Time 4:50.
Larry Mullins here. You've had a stressful day, and 2020 has given us plenty of that. Well, here's to a better night's sleep. I tried a gravity-weighted blanket, the only blanket tested and proven to improve sleep quality. And folks, I didn't toss, I didn't turn, didn't wake up one time. Just deep, relaxing sleep. And for this month only, Gravity is giving 1010 Wins listeners an exclusive 25% off site-wide if you go to gravityblankets.com and use code NEWS. Buy yours today, and hurry! This offer expires 11/1. Go to gravityblankets.com.
Stop & Shop has great deals for you and your family with our 4-day sale now through Monday, where packs of Acadia water are $1.88 each. Limit 3 packs. And selected varieties of Premio Italian sausage are $1.99 each. Limit 2. Get all you need for pizza night, taco night, pasta night, every night, so you can enjoy all your favorite recipes and make the most of every meal with Stop & Shop. Wins News Time 4:56 now. Bloomberg Money Watch, here's Andrew
about outliers. The International Council of Shopping Centers says only 45% of Americans plan to shop in a mall this season. Last year it was 64%. Bluebird Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. Amanda O'Day for 1010 wins.
With News Time 457.
Perlmutter Cancer Center at NYU is aware that many anxious cancer patients have been postponing appointments and procedures due to fear of going to the doctor's office. Your cancer testing, screening, and treatment should not be put on hold. At Perlmutter Cancer Center, all of our facilities have instituted strict guidelines to keep you safe, including personal protective equipment for anyone on site, temperature screening, frequent cleanings, less crowded spaces, and testing of all our staff. Patients can also access their Perlmutter Cancer Center physicians through video visits, and anyone with concerning symptoms can speak by phone or video with a member of our Suspicion of Cancer virtual clinic. Cancer hasn't stopped during this pandemic, and at Perlmutter Cancer Center, neither will we. To schedule an appointment, visit nyulangone.org/cancer.
Hey, I'm Andy. I'm still not famous, but you might remember that I started Harry's because I was tired of overpaying for razors. It always felt like big brands were taking advantage of us. Every time they improved something back then, prices seemed to go up. At Harry's, we take a different approach. Today, I'm proud to introduce our sharpest blades ever, available at the same price as before, as low as $2 each. They're a new, sharper version of our German-engineered blades. Guys who shave 4 days a week have told us that with our new blades, their 8th shave is as smooth as their first. And we stand by that, with a 100% money-back quality guarantee at Harrys.com. Millions have already made the switch to Harry's, and we hope you will too, with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set featuring our new, sharper blade, a weighted razor handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3, plus free shipping. Just go to Harrys.com and enter 7720 at checkout. That's Harrys.com, code 7720. Enjoy!
With News Time 459.
WINS, WAWHD3 New York.
A radio.com station. 1010 winds AccuWeather says clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 58 degrees in Midtown. Tomorrow, sunshine mixing with some clouds, a summer day in the fall, high 77. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low 63. Sunday morning, sunshine giving way to clouds. Could see some rain later in the day and evening, high during the day 70. Monday, cloudy and cooler with rain that could be heavy at times, high 60. And Tuesday, some leftover showers in the morning. Clouds will break for a little bit of sun in the afternoon, high 70. 68 degrees now, sunny in New York, humidity 46%. Winds are calm, repeating the current temperature, 68 degrees. More people get their news from 1010 Winds than from any other radio station in the nation. Robert Carl is our studio producer and engineer. Oliver Sampson, our service aide. Walter Guest is writing. Justin Schrager at the editor's desk. I'm Lori Madden.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Winds. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon, 68 degrees now. Sunny skies, it is 5 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Federal judge says Governor Cuomo did not break the law, including restrictions on large gatherings, including religious services in Orthodox Jewish communities. This coming after a pair of lawsuits. And now, the governor taking aim at some robocalls, which he says were spurred by the Trump campaign. It isn't the amount Democrats asked for, but President Trump has come up with his idea of what a stimulus package should look like. And he says if all goes as planned, stimulus checks should go out soon. We'll see what Democratic lawmakers have to say about it. Baseball mourning the loss of its chairman of the board tonight. Whitey Ford, that is, one of the biggest and brightest stars ever, passed away at the age of 91 last night. NASA wants to know, what would you pack to take with you to the moon in your suitcase? And it's not a trick question to make room for those fluffy towels aboard the space station on your trip back to Earth. It's a high 68 degrees today.
This is Andrew O'Day's Bloomberg. Another higher finish for the market. Stock traders followed the uneven but steady progress in COVID stimulus talks. The Dow rose 161.
Wednesday time, 5:01, and from the traffic center this afternoon, here's Greg Rice.
We go to the Bronx, northbound side of the Deegan, getting up towards West 230th Street, picking this up on the 1010 Wedge Jam Cam. You've got a crash only the right right lane goes, and you really don't, all the way back from the RFK Bridge. Southbound Deegan to Rubberneck from the northern end of Van Cortlandt Park. So in the Bronx, you are running out of options. Southbound Bronx River Parkway is bad from Westchester all the way to the Cross Bronx. New England Thruway is a mess either way to Pelham Parkway, and the Hutch is bad either way near the Drawbridge. The northbound Hutch is also the worst of your options getting through Westchester County. Westbound Cross West over to the Mario Cuomo is a standstill because of an earlier breakdown getting over towards the Rockland side. Rest of your bridges and tunnels, here's what you need to know. 1 hour up, 45 down at the inbound side of the George. Everything outbound awful, and to the west side still with emergency construction either way in the 90s, knocking out multiple lanes. Lincoln 30 in, well over an hour out, 60 plus at the outbound Holland. Inbound side of the Holland, 20 to 30 from either approach. Traffic is sponsored by Care One. Care One has been serving the community for over 50 years and has the experience to keep you and your loved ones safe. Don't delay the rehabilitation, long-term care, and assisted living services you need. Visit care-one.com today. Care One, trust in our care. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Wins.
A federal judge says Governor Cuomo can move forward with new pandemic restrictions on gatherings at synagogues and other houses of worship, saying the rules do not violate the free exercise of religion for Orthodox Jews. Several groups sued the governor and the city in the wake of this week's rollback of COVID freedoms in the wake of a spike. Meantime, the governor says the Trump campaign playing politics with the Jewish community over in Borough Park, encouraging people, he says, to protest the governor's restrictions in COVID hotspots and putting each other in danger. He's coming at the end of a week which included a pair of violent incidents playing out during those protests. Here's Sonia Rinko.
The governor mentioned activist Tashi Tischler and read a tweet of his from Tuesday in which Tischler was looking for people to print signs that said Cuomo hates Jews and Cuomo killed thousands to bring.
You're beating a journalist? Criminal behavior. The person should be arrested.
Cuomo also played a robocall that was similar to Tischler's tweet and that it was recruiting protesters to Borough Park to bring those signs.
Action rate, there's a 5.4% positive rate in the so-called red zones where the crackdown is occurring. When you factor those numbers into the overall state totals, the state numbers become 1.1%. Otherwise, the state is 0.9%. And that's why they're trying to get things, the governor says, under control. 81 more positive COVID tests yesterday. Hospitalizations up for the 6th straight day, and sadly, 6 more deaths. On a more positive note, the statewide rate of transmission fell for a 4th straight day to 1.19, but that's still above the key benchmark of 1.0. Meantime, with Jersey's counties and towns struggling to cover the unexpected costs associated with the pandemic, Murphy announced today the state has set up a $60 million local government emergency fund.
The department will use a variety of metrics to ensure that these funds are distributed fairly and reach the most affected communities across our state. But for hundreds of communities across our state, as I mentioned in the 12 counties that did not qualify for direct assistance, we know these funds will be a welcome lifeline to them and to their taxpayers.
Murphy says the money will be used on needs like remote technology, the refitting of public spaces for social distancing, overtime, public workers can use that. And with folks spending more time at home, increased garbage and sanitation services. The funding comes from the first federal stimulus package passed back in the spring. Governor Cuomo says he's appalled and disgusted to hear about the anti-Semitic graffiti found yesterday on the campus of Hofstra and at a home in nearby Merrick, Long Island. Hofstra officials say the graffiti there was carved into the walls of an elevator in one of their residence halls just weeks after similar graffiti was found in the exact same residence hall. Over in Merrick, meantime, a swastika was found etched into the newly poured driveway of a home on Bryant Drive. Cuomo says he's directing the state hate crimes task force now to investigate both of those incidents. Well, it's the announcement Broadway fans might have expected but didn't want to hear. Didn't they say it was January, but now, well, the Broadway League announcing today that with the pandemic still going strong, curtains will not be raised again until at least next May. Ouch. League President Charlotte St. Martin speaking with 1010.
It's become very clear that not enough has happened from a scientific and medical perspective that we felt confident we could say to all those people whose jobs depend upon Broadway that we would be back in the spring or in March, as many people were guessing.
In the wake of the announcement, 1010 Wins newsman Roger Stern caught up with some disappointed fans in the theater district.
The Broadway League announced the decision, dashing hopes that live performances would resume in early
disappointed at what it means.
The excitement of living in New York is to have access to the best of the performing arts. And that's terrible. It's also terrible for the economy of the city.
By one estimate, Broadway brings in nearly $15 billion to New York's economy annually. It puts food on the table for almost 75,000 actors, stagehands, musicians, and others. And here in the theater district, Pete understands that it's a tough call.
Unfortunate, because obviously that's the so I feel really bad about that, but I do really think that we need to speak, you know?
Roger Stern, 1010 wins on Broadway.
By the way, if you're holding a ticket for a show through May 30th, you want to get a hold of your ticket agent for a refund or exchange. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, not quite as pretty as last night with a low of 58. Right now we're at 68 degrees in Central Park. Wednesday this time 5:08. President Trump has reportedly increased his proposal for a COVID stimulus package to 1.8. That's up from his previous $6 trillion. Still short of 2.2, passed last week by Democrats in the House. On the Rush Limbaugh show today, the president said he's also hoping to get some stimulus.
Email or Jameson, where's my ballot? They should be confident about this concept. Yeah, and again, it's not very concerning is that people will think, it took September 21st until now to get the ballot, but it's a proof that it's not the case that they didn't start printing millions until September 30th. But they do say by early next week, by Monday, they expect 200,000 ballots will have gone out. So PCO says there's no reason to think that 3 weeks isn't enough time to return the ballots if people aren't comfortable with mail, which he says it's taking 3 days for most of these to get where they're going. Voters can also use the ballots to drop off or they can return in person to voter services office. All right, Jim Melvin with us on the roundup. 25 days until the election. Learning late this afternoon that President Trump will hold a rally in Florida on Monday, 1 week after returning from Walter Reed Hospital for treatment for COVID-19. Key voters tell pollsters they're undecided this time around, so his focus is on getting people who usually don't vote registered and to the polls. Who those non-voters are and what could get them off the sidelines is the subject of this weekend's Flashpoint, our community affairs show. And Sherry Gregg produces and hosts the show. She's with us on the roundup now. Sherry, is it really true that nearly 100 million people who could have voted last general?
And it is sad, but very, very true. According to the 100 Million Project, a survey on non-voters released by the Knight Foundation earlier this year, they found that voters tend to be well-educated, white, and affluent, and that non-voters tended to be something else. Nonprofit surveyed about 12,000 non-voters of diverse backgrounds, and I won't give it all away, but they're more likely to be lower income and minority and less likely to be party affiliated. And Ian, many of these folks do not believe that our system of democracy works. So we discuss this as an opportunity, and we look at how voter engagement, volunteers, and others who are on the ground right now texting, canvassing neighborhoods, can and are changing minds. Then our newsmaker of the week is Seth Williams, Philadelphia's former district attorney. Remember him? Well, he's off of house arrest after serving 3 years in the federal pen for bribery. He spoke exclusively to Flashpoint earlier this week about how he plans to rebuild his life. So you'll hear from him. Then finally, our Patriot Home Care Changemaker is the Urban League of Philadelphia. Back to you, Ian.
And Sherry, just remind us where people can listen to Flashpoint.
Flashpoint airs here on 1060. You can also subscribe to the podcast by downloading the radio.com app, Apple Podcast app, or the platform.
Invest in the voting options and cast your ballot. We're working to make sure you can vote safely, whether you choose to vote from home or in person. And if you choose to vote by mail, make sure you return your ballot using both envelopes. Your ballot goes in the smaller envelope for secrecy, and that goes into the larger envelope for mailing. Also, don't forget to sign the voter declaration on the back. Your voice matters. Make sure it's heard. Go to aarp.org/PAVotes to learn about your voting options and how to vote safely this election. Visit aarp.org/PAVotes today. Paid for by AARP.
It's 5:12. Still still to come. Police say the man involved in yesterday's rampage in Germantown may have been involved in an earlier deadly crime. We'll take a look at the investigation after we check traffic and weather on the news. And back over to Brian in a moment.
Lots of delays out there. We start on the Schuylkill Expressway where you're jammed eastbound from Conshohocken out of Belmont. They have cleared that exit off to the side. No lanes are open, but it's a pretty good delay. Heading in that direction, westbound you're jammed in that stretch too. Now you're already jammed westbound from University to Vine Street Expressway due to construction. Now we also have plenty of delays on the Vine, on the, 95 from the Vine up northbound, past the Betsy Ross Bridge. Southbound, you slow top of the Girard. We're seeing delays on the Blue Route southbound, approaching Broome, almost all the way down to 95. Delays in 95 in Delaware County both ways, southbound around the Blue Route, northbound around the Commodore Barry. Jam at 422 eastbound, right lane blocked for a trooper because of an overturned vehicle. Now on the Pennsylvania Turnpike eastbound past Mid-County, got an accident in the left lane, seeing a delay forming behind that. Now Burlington Bristol Bridge with some construction, expect some delays. We're seeing some delays with Tacony Palmyra heading into Philadelphia. Not sure what that might be. We are seeing delays on the Wall Women, though, heading into New Jersey, jammed all the way across. Then in New Jersey, you're seeing your typical delays on 76 East and 42 South, 295 South as well, but 295 North jammed near Burlington Mount Holly because of an accident involving an overturned tractor trailer. Mass Transit's okay. In the K1 24-hour traffic center, I'm Brian Romano.
And the forecast now from the NBC 10 First Alert Weather Center. Partly cloudy tonight, down to 57 degrees. It will be partly sunny tomorrow with a high near 80. Clouds increase Sunday with a chance for showers late. And the remnants of what is now Hurricane Delta make its way our way. High 75 Sunday. Monday, rain heavy at times. Chilly for Columbus Day with a high of 66. And Tuesday, a mostly cloudy one with showers likely, high 72. 72 degrees right now in Center City. We're heading down to 57 under a partly sunny sky. Here's a wrap-up of the day on Wall Street, sponsored by CrashProofRetirement.com, where you can see crash-proof consumers who've outperformed the market with no market risk. Dow closed up 161 points, Nasdaq 159. The S&P 500 30 points on the day.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Get the radio.com and add KYW to your favorites.
5:15, here are 3 things to know, sponsored by Oliver Heating and Cooling. Investigators have gotten a tip the gunman in yesterday's deadly incident in Germantown may have committed an earlier double murder. An emaciated dog is rescued and is being nursed back to health after being found in North Philadelphia. Recapping our top story, Eric Rick Jr., a white former Philadelphia cop, surrenders to face murder charges in the death of Dennis Plowden, an unarmed black man 3 years ago. All ahead in the next 15 minutes, I'm Ian Bush with Quentin Client and Dan Micah at the editor's desk. Learning more today about that rampage in Germantown that left an innocent woman dead, a few other people injured, the suspect killed by police. KRW's Kim Globus joins us. Kim, what took about an hour and a half to play out yesterday may not have been the beginning of it.
Yes, Ian, and police are now saying this same man may have been responsible for a double murder on Monday. But on Thursday, 29-year-old Stanley Cochran showed up at St. Luke's Church in Germantown around 3 a.m. A woman who lives and works at the church heard a noise downstairs and went to see what was going on. That's when she confronted him, and police say the two knew each other. Police say for about 30 to maybe 60 minutes, Cochran was badgering the woman to give him food, money, and her car keys. He also said he had to kill someone. The woman refused to give him anything for a long time. Then Cochran fired the assault rifle he was carrying in the church, and that's when police say she tossed him her keys and he left. Minutes later at Green and Maplewood, he crashed the car. Then police say Cochran tried to carjack another vehicle, but the driver threw it in reverse for several blocks. Then she saw some police cruisers and flagged them down, telling them what happened. In the meantime, police say Cochran stopped another car, fatally shooting 19-year-old Skylar Owens Mooney in the head. A male passenger in that vehicle was also shot, but he survived. Officers trailed Cochran to Rittenhouse and Germantown Avenue, where he exchanged gunfire with one officer. Then Cochran tried and failed to steal that officer's police cruiser in. That's when police say a fourth officer showed up and shot Cochran. He was pronounced dead a short time later at Einstein Medical Center, but he and police say this investigation isn't over yet.
There's still more to learn. Kim Globus, thanks. 5:18 on the roundup. Well, here's a heartbreaking story, but we're also about to bring you a happy chapter and it looks like it's heading toward a really great ending. An emaciated dog, we're talking fur and bones, was found wandering around North Philadelphia this week, apparently after being pushed out of a car. The pup, though, was rescued and now is being nursed back to health. KRW's John McDevitt joins us. Hi, John. Tell us about George.
Yeah, good afternoon. 37-year-old Danny Nagowski of Northeast Philly was driving his beverage truck on Fox Street near Roberts Avenue in North Philly on Wednesday morning, a route that he was never on before, when he came across a dog who was all by himself and appeared to be in trouble.
I saw his head just facing down, just looking at the ground, looking very like sad. And then as I pulled up to him, then I noticed how frail he was.
The Great Dane mix was emaciated, so Danny called who worked at an animal rescue she in turn called Philly Bully Team. Co-founder of that rescue, Marvin Graff, was nearby and was able to secure the dog and take him to an animal hospital.
He was just so unbelievably skinny. I didn't know how the dog was alive, let alone standing, walking down the road.
Meanwhile, a witness has stepped forward, claiming to have seen the dog, now named George, being pushed out of a vehicle and was able to provide a description. Nicole Wilson is the Director of Humane Law Enforcement and Shelter Services for the Pennsylvania SPCA.
Working with the District Attorney's Office, we're able to obtain owner registration information for that vehicle and are continuing to investigate the case based upon that identifying information.
Funds are being raised to pay for George's treatments in the hospital, and once he is healthy and able to leave, a foster home will be needed as the dog waits to be adopted. More information at phillybullyteam.com.
All right, John, thanks. Far more good people than bad around here doing good stuff after that dog was found. 72 degrees. We've got a partly cloudy sky in Center City, heading down to 57, 520 on the roundup with a crash on the eastbound Pennsylvania Turnpike. We're going with Brian at the traffic center next.
Voting by mail in Pennsylvania? Remember to seal your ballot in the smaller security envelope first, then in the larger mail-in envelope. 90 days back and drop in the mail before November 3rd. Apply for a ballot now. Find out how and get more info at votespa.com.
This is Charlie.
This is Dixie.
And we're starting a podcast.
Super dopes, super fun.
It's Charlie and Dixie, two chicks. We're going to be talking about tea, friendships, relationships. Our first podcast episode is coming out October 7th. Wait, really? Yeah, just kidding, I knew that. So make sure you go in your podcast app and subscribe to Charlie and Dixie, two chicks on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Why so serious?
Spilled your drink? Quick! The quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills and messes quicker. And each is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading value brand. So you can get back to the party. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Election Day is November 3rd. If you plan to vote by mail, plan ahead at usps.com/votinginfo. There, you will find helpful resources, such as guidance for successfully using the mail, links to find your state's rules and deadlines, information for military and overseas voters, and more. The U.S. Postal Service is ready to deliver for you. Make sure you're ready too. Start today at usps.com/votinginfo.
This is Time That Matters, a window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. Schedule their visit now. Sponsored by Merck.
522, the stimulus soap opera is not over yet. We got the update after we check traffic and weather on the 2s. Sponsored by Gary Barbera's Peterson Crowd on the Boulevard. And over to Brian Ramona.
Speaking of the Boulevard, we have an accident report northbound past Welsh Road. Watch for delays through there. Schuylkill eastbound still jammed Conshohocken to Belmont, but that accident now off the side. All lanes are open. Westbound, you're still heavy. University of the Pine Street Expressway due to the construction taking out a lane, then heavy again as you head out of town to the Boulevard out to Conshohocken. Blue Route south delays between Broomall and 95. The Turnpike eastbound jammed up near Mid-County. You have an accident in the left lane. 422 east jams from Oaks to Trooper, but that accident blocking a lane husband moved off to the side. In Upper Darby, Copley Road at Ludlow Street, about a block from 69th Street. Very busy area anyway. It's kind of a back way that people try to avoid the Market Street stretch. It gets all backed up, so watch for delays through there. 95 jam both ways around the Betsy Ross Bridge, north of the city. Jam south of the city, southbound around the Blue Route, and then northbound around 322. Now, if you're heading over the bridges, Burlington, Bristol with construction, overseeing delays eastbound on the Walt Whitman Bridge all the way across, and then from that point on to 42 down to 55. 295 south is heavy there as well, but 295 north is going to be your preferred way if you're heading up towards Burlington Mount Holly as we get on the New Jersey Turnpike northbound approaching exit 5 for Burlington Mount Holly. An accident blocking the two right lanes involving an overturned vehicle and fire. Actually, an overturned tractor trailer. Ring, ding, ding, ding. Gary Barbera is Peterson Brown. Ring, ding, 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 ding. Barbera-thon is in full swing. $1.99 down or $1.99 a month in the color you want. Come to the Big B with your pockets empty. Is Barbera, Coach Peterson, the birds the best? Oh, I guess. Okay, what about the 24-hour traffic center? I'm Brian Armada.
Partly cloudy tonight, down to 57 degrees. It'll be partly sunny through high clouds tomorrow, but much warmer with a high near 80. Clouds increase for Sunday. The NBC 10 First Alert forecast sees a chance for showers late with a high 75. And then rain to come at night into Monday. 70 degrees right now in Longport, 71 in Wynwood, and 71 at the Acme in Clifton Heights. Sponsored by Acme. Acme, your favorite local supermarket. It's 5:24. The on-again, off-again talks in Washington on another coronavirus relief bill are said to be on again, as President Trump has told his negotiators today to present a $1.8 trillion proposal to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. That is the highest top-line dollar figure the administration's put on the table so far, though Pelosi has been unwilling to go below $2 trillion so far. We'll see how it all pans out, but no breakthrough yet. And so the millions of people and businesses pleading for further help will keep waiting, as will state and local governments desperate for their own stimulus to make up for huge losses. Now there's a new pool of money to the tune of tens of millions of dollars to help some of those local governments in New Jersey recoup their COVID costs. KW's Mike DiNardo joins us on the roundup now. Mike, it's called the Local Government Emergency Fund. Who gets the money?
Well, Ian, this $60 million is for 12 counties in New Jersey that weren't eligible for direct federal aid from the first stimulus plan because they didn't have at least 500,000 residents. Governor Murphy was in Evesham Township this morning to announce the fund. Through this local government emergency fund, we can ensure that these costs are covered without the entire weight being placed on the shoulders of local taxpayers through higher property taxes. Now, the governor said the money is to be used to reimburse towns for things like public safety and health-related expenses, COVID-related overtime, increased trash collection and sanitation services, signage, expenses so employees can work remotely, things like that. Now, the funds are distributed under a formula that takes things like a county's coronavirus infection rate, its population, and the amount of money it's spent into consideration. Altogether, it's $8 million for Burlington County, $6 million for towns in Cumberland County, and Ian Gloucester County is receiving $5 million.
Mike DiNardo on Reporters Roundup. Let's check money news. Sounds like a good time to do so with the Dow up 161 points on the day. NASDAQ gained 159. That's more than 1.33%. The S&P 500 picked up 30 points. KOW Money News analyst Bob Manning is with us from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Bob, nice way to end a pretty good week on Wall Street.
We did have a good week, and the bulls did finish the week with a rally, Ian. Wall Street has been focused on a second coronavirus relief package. News out of Capitol Hill has created daily volatility with the on-again, off-again nature of the negotiations. In today's trading, we've learned there is communication going on, and as a result, there is hope. Admittedly, this is the best week we've had on Wall Street since July, as sentiment potentially expects something positive could happen. Incredibly interesting day on Wall Street.
Yeah, Bob Manning, thanks. 5:27 on the roundup, and still to come on KYW, a white former cop charged with killing an unarmed black man in Philadelphia.
No one is ever prepared for a breast cancer diagnosis. That's why at the Penn Medicine Virtual Cancer Program, we're prepared for you. Whether you're concerned you might have breast cancer or you've been diagnosed, we'll put you on the right path with the most advanced treatments and a dedicated nurse navigator to guide you every step of the way. Connect with your breast care team in South Jersey today. Call 844-616-8773 or visit virtua.org/mycancerteam. That's virtua.org/mycancerteam.
What are you thinking, Brian?
I'm thinking about Dorothy.
Dorothy, who?
There's no place like home. That Dorothy.
Oh, the one with the shoe.
She went through all kinds of stuff, and all she wanted was to get back home.
Home is a special place.
And 1-800-GOT-JUNK makes it even more special.
By getting rid of what doesn't belong?
By getting rid of what doesn't belong.
Home is where the heart is.
And junk is wherever you find it.
Leave it where it is.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
And we'll make that junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
If you'd rather toss that junk outside,
We can make it disappear from there, too.
we do it your way.
Because you're the boss.
We love what we do.
Let us do it for you.
We'll give you back your big,
Open.
magical home.
Because that's what you get when the junk is gone.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
The Travis Foundation and Rosengarten Roofing, in partnership with Ferguson Light, Pipeline, and All Seasons Comfort Control, present Operation Legacy, the home renovation project for Gold Star wife Jessica Bird of Philadelphia. Jessica's husband, Lance Corporal John T. Bird, was killed by a suicide bomber in Iraq in 2004 while Jessica was pregnant with her son Elijah. Jessica has turned this tragedy into a life of service as a nurse caring for low-income, first-time mothers, and is an active volunteer for the Travis Manning Foundation. However, the Bird home is in need of serious repair. With the help of Ferguson Line Conklin and All Seasons Comfort Control of Southampton, we are giving back. All Seasons Comfort Control and Mitsubishi have graciously provided the Bird family with a new Mitsubishi electric ductless heating and cooling system. To learn more about Jessica's story and the Ferguson Line Conklin, All Seasons Comfort Control and Mitsubishi commitment, go to 94WIP.com/Operation Legacy.
Heading down to 57 degrees under a partly cloudy sky tonight. We're warm to 80 tomorrow. Partly sunny through those high clouds. Then clouds increase on Sunday with a chance for showers late and more rain to come into the holiday on Monday. KYW News Time 5:30. From high above the Schuylkill River.
KYW News Radio 1060.
All news and all that matters to you.
A former Philadelphia police officer faces murder charges in his handling of the December 2017 incident.
Former Officer Luke was arrested.
I'm Hadass Cousins.
Montgomery County officials say an inadvertent email from the Pennsylvania Department of State regarding mail-in ballots is causing unnecessary stress and confusion.
A Philadelphia judge denies the Trump campaign's request to put poll watchers in satellite election offices. I'm Pat Lowe.
72 degrees with sunshine in Center City, going down to 57 tonight. Good evening to you. I'm Paul Kurtz. And our top story, a former Philadelphia cop who is white has been charged with murder in the shooting death of an unarmed black man from Germantown 3 years ago. KYW's Hadass Kuzmits has more.
Charges including first and third degree murder have been filed against a former Philadelphia police officer in connection with the December 2017 incident. Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner.
Former Officer Luke was arrested by Philadelphia police when he turned himself in at 24th and Wolf Streets. He will be held without bail on the first-degree murder charge.
He says Eric Rook Jr. had pulled over Dennis Plowden, an unarmed civilian, after putting in a call asking to run a tag on the car Plowden was driving. According to the grand jury report, Plowden struck the open door of an unmarked police car when pulling away, which led to a police chase in which Plowden struck 3 seconds of arriving on that scene.
Eric Rook killed Dennis Plowden while on duty by firing his gun directly at Plowden's head as Plowden sat on the ground with his left empty hand raised.
In a statement says they will represent former police officer Eric Rook Jr.
Officials are becoming increasingly nervous about what could happen on Election Day. That's get 2 free. Call 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. Here's Brian Ramona. Good evening, sir. Are we there, Brian? Well, we will try him in a bit. We have obviously have a bad connection there, so let's move on to the 5-day forecast. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Brittany Ship joining us live, and good evening to you. What do you have out there?
Well, good evening.
Good, huh?
Oh, what a
a beautiful weekend. We already had a beautiful end to the work week today with temperatures in the low 70s. And now, as we look ahead to Saturday, a high of 80 degrees, partly sunny, with a few high, thick clouds. By Sunday, things start to change. Clouds increase, and we'll have a chance of showers after 6 p.m., a high of 75 degrees. Part of the reason why we are going to see these rain showers, especially going into Monday, is due to the leftover tropical moisture from what is now Hurricane Delta pushing onshore in Louisiana. So by Monday, we'll see all-day rain, heavy at times, chilly and a high of 66. By Tuesday, mostly cloudy with showers ending early and a high of 76 degrees. But Saturday is the day out of the two heading into the weekend.
All right, thank you, Brittany. Let's try back with Brian Romano for traffic.
All right, Steve, so a few problems on the boulevard now. Northbound past Welsh, an accident there, but southbound we now have one right around Fox Street. Now, only the right lane is squeezing by and you're jammed all the way back to 9th Street on the boulevard. Schuylkill Expressway, your northern delays between King of Prussia and the city. You're going to expect to add about 40 minutes to your trip both ways. But in South Philadelphia, of course, you have only one lane getting by between University and 30th Street due to the construction. 95, your two delays north of the city between Girard and Cobden, both southbound and northbound. Also slow in Delaware County, southbound between Ridley Park and 322, northbound around the Commodore Barry Bridge. Blue Ridge South generally slow from 95, down to 95, I should say, starting up around Brewball. Now, we still have this accident on the Turnpike eastbound. You're jammed for about 3 miles now. That accident, the two left lanes just after the Mid-County tolls. Now, 422 a little better, but eastbound still a minor delay near Trooper. Earlier accident there. Bridges are really slow now. Walt Whitman into New Jersey, the Ben Franklin into Philadelphia. Laser reporting an accident on the downside of the Ben Franklin Bridge. When we get to New Jersey, and you're typically on delays as you get to the 76 East, which turns into 42 South. But the Turnpike you want to avoid northbound. It's a 4-mile backup approaching exit 5 due to an overturned tractor trailer and fire. Mass transit, no major delays. In the K1 24-hour traffic center, I'm Brian Ramona.
It's 5:35. The judge has ruled against the Trump campaign, denying a request to put poll watchers in the city's satellite election offices. KYW City Hall Bureau Chief Pat Loeb tells us he agreed with the city that the offices are not polling places.
Judge Gary Glazer says the offices don't fit either the time or geographic limitations for polling places in the state election code, that is, on election day in and for a specific voting district, nor, he says, are the functions of polling places performed there, no opening, counting, or recording of ballots. Thus, he says, allowing poll watchers where state law makes no provision for them would be the worst sort of judicial activism, usurping the legislative function. The ruling is a victory for the city commissioners who opened the offices to ease getting and returning mail-in ballots in light of their unexpected popularity due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and to reassure voters in light of the president's repeated attacks on mail-in voting. The commissioners are allowing only voters conducting business inside the offices. They say they're pleased with the decision and will welcome poll watchers on election day. In the meantime, Judge Glazer recommended the Trump campaign accept the commissioner's offer to tour the offices, but not to linger. Pat Loeb, KYW News Radio.
No comment from the Trump campaign. Now we have this election update from the suburbs. Hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots are on their way to voters in Montgomery County. But the county elections office is getting inundated with phone calls from people who've received a premature email from the Pennsylvania Department of State. More on that from KYW Suburban Bureau Chief Jim Miller.
Montgomery County voters who requested a mail-in ballot got an email on September 21st saying their ballot was on the way, and if it doesn't arrive in 10 to 14 days, call the County Voter Services Office.
The Department of State has acknowledged that that email should not have gone out, and obviously it has created a lot of confusion, unnecessarily so.
Montgomery County Chief Clerk Lisa Oltesiak says they started mailing ballots on September 30th. So far, they're hearing ballots are generally arriving at voters' homes within 3 days of being mailed.
The important thing to note here is that there has not been a delay actually in processing people's ballots or on the part of the United States Postal Service delivering those ballots.
Oltesiak says by early next week they expect 200,000 ballots will have been mailed, and he adds there's no reason to think 3 weeks isn't enough time to return those ballots. In addition to mail, voters can use the county's 11 ballot drop boxes, the 4 satellite elections offices, or return them in person to the Voter Services Office in Norristown. At the Suburban Bureau, Jim Melward, KYW News Radio.
Law enforcement officials say so much confusion, added with voter anger, could be a recipe for disaster at the polls next month.
Otherwise, stand back and stand by.
President Trump's statement during the first presidential debate when he was asked to take a stand against far-right groups is still echoing. It's one factor that has some law enforcement officials bracing for potential trouble on Election Day from extremist groups and others who believe polls are rigged and need to be closely watched. Officers are running drills, setting up command centers, and getting ready just in case there are major problems. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
5:38, Hurricane Delta is bringing bands of rain and blustery winds to Louisiana as it spins toward the state's southwest coast. Currently a Cat 2 storm that's expected to make landfall tonight. Meteorologist David Parkinson has more on what's in store.
Probably a 4 or 5 hour window where the conditions are the absolute worst in terms of the wind, probably from just after sunset to about 10 or 11 p.m., and then things drastically improve.
Reporter Tom Trum is in Lake Charles, a town devastated by Hurricane Laura just 6 weeks ago.
We're standing in front of an antique store. It is boarded up, and it's hard to say if it was boarded up from the last time for Laura or people came back, the owners, and then boarded up for Hurricane Delta.
Delta is the 25th named storm of a historic hurricane season. It's forecast to bring life-threatening storm surges as high as 11 feet in some places. There's a crash on the Pennsylvania Turnpike eastbound that we'll have an update for you in a few minutes. It's 5:39.
For your morning coffee and stay connected, ask your smart speaker to play KYW News Radio.
It's time for good, clean fun at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Atlantic City, where you take the stage, you focus on the fun, and we'll handle making everything safe and sound using the highest standards and technology. Enjoy our wide open spaces to play your favorite slots and table games. Book your escape. Rooms starting at $79 midweek. Visit HardRockHotelAtlanticCity.com. Some hotel restrictions apply. Must be 21. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Norman Chaikin, also known as Norman the Floorman from Norman Carpet. Little boy's doing his homework, says, "Hey Dad, where are the Andes?" Says, "I don't know, ask your mother, she puts everything away." Whether you need carpet for your home or business, whether it's your boardroom, bedroom, or investment property, I've got just the thing at half price. I stock thousands of yards of mill trials, overruns, odd lots, both first and second quality, all at 50% off. That's Norman Carpet, 1-800-220-RUGS, or visit us at normancarpet.net.
You like your burger medium well, your peanut butter crunchy, and your mattress firm. It's the little things that make you, you. And you deserve a Medicare plan that fits your unique needs. That's why United Healthcare is offering more plan options than ever, so you can find just the right plan for you. Call 1-800-362-8715. That's 1-800-362-8715 to get Medicare with more. Remember, Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th.
This is time that matters. A window of time to help protect the ones you love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. This is your window of protection. Schedule their well visit now. Brought to you by Merck.
It's me, your personal info. Remember when I was only in a few places?
Like your wallet,
your computer, or safe deposit box. Well, now I'm practically everywhere. On all your devices. Where you browse, shop,
and bank online.
Anywhere you log in. Your info is out there. And what you do online can leave you vulnerable to cyber criminals. More threats demand more protection. That's why Norton and LifeLock are now part of one company. Norton 360 with LifeLock provides all-in-one membership for your cyber safety. It gives you device security, identity theft protection, a VPN for online privacy, and more. No one can prevent all cybercrime and identity theft, but Norton 360 with LifeLock is your ally in today's connected world, even if your info is on vacation. Sign up today for Norton 360 with LifeLock and save 25% or more off your first year by going to norton.com/news. That's norton.com/news for 25% off.
What used to be a rare sighting is becoming almost commonplace off the coast of New York. I'll have that for you shortly. At 5:42, let's check traffic and weather on the 2s, sponsored by Pico.
All right, Paul, so as we look at the Pico Traffic Time and Energy Saving Road, I can tell you that is right now Route 309, pretty easy ride between the Turnpike and Hatfield. You have some delays on the Northeast Extension northbound and southbound because of earlier accidents. Save time and energy by going to pico.com/business. Now, also on the Turnpike eastbound, freeways between Conshohocken and the city, especially heavy eastbound. Earlier accident around Belmont, though, is clear. Boulevard southbound crawling from 9th Street down to 5. Just the right shoulder now. A little bit of a gaper delay on the northbound side. You're jammed back to the Schuylkill on that. And an earlier accident around Welsh appears to be clear. 76 west still slow between University and South due to the construction taken out the left lane. Due to the delays on 95 between 676 and Cottman in both directions. Same in Delaware County. Southbound Ridley Park to 322. Northbound around 4. South heavy between Broomall and 95 in spots. Now, if you're heading over the Delaware River, bridges are really slow. All of them except for the Commodore Barry, even though there's construction eastbound. If you're slow eastbound the Walt Whitman, you're slow westbound with Ben Franklin. That's because of an accident just after mid-span of the two left lanes and a car stop at the bottom. You get to New Jersey and 42 north there, southbound slows from Camden down to 55, 295 slow from 70 down to 42. But the New Jersey Turnpike slow for about 4 miles approaching exit 5 due to an overturned tractor trailer, actually a jackknife tractor trailer, and fire. Mass transit, no major delays. Pico is helping businesses at all times.
Now the forecast with NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Brittany Ship.
Early morning lows drop down into the mid to high 50s for most of our suburbs and Philadelphia. By Saturday afternoon, we're on the way up to 80 degrees, partly sunny with a few thin high clouds, and much warmer than what we've seen the past couple of days. On Sunday, clouds increase, a chance of showers late, a high of just 75, and rain is more likely at night. By Monday, rain heavy at times throughout most of the day, chilly. Temperatures drop down to the mid-60s. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Brittany Ship with your most accurate forecast. Count on it.
Right now, 72 degrees with sunshine in Center City. This check on Wall Street is sponsored by CrashProofRetirement.com. You can listen live to the Crash Proof Retirement Show every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m. Dow Jones was up 161 points today. The NASDAQ gained 159 and the S&P rose 30.
No radio at home? No problem. Just ask your smart speaker to play KYW News Radio.
Three things to know at 5:45. President Trump is set to speak at an in-person event at the White House tomorrow, 2 weeks after hosting what Dr. Fauci calls a coronavirus super spreader event in the Rose Garden. Optometrists have advice on how to reduce eye strain at the computer. And recapping our top story, a white Philadelphia cop fired in 2018 is charged with murder in the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man in 2017. That's all ahead in the next 15 minutes. Good evening. I'm Paul Kurtz. Quentin Client is at the editor's desk.
New reality. Life in a pandemic. Now, the latest from KYW News Radio.
The nation's top infectious disease expert tells CBS News data shows President Trump 2 weeks ago hosted a coronavirus super spreader event in the Rose Garden.
CBS News special report. Dr. Anthony Fauci is confirming something President Trump has not about a Rose Garden ceremony introducing Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. In an exclusive interview with CBS News Radio, Fauci says,
the data speak for themselves. We had a super spreader event in the White House, and it was in a situation where people were crowded together and were not wearing masks. So the data speak for themselves.
More than 20 people, including the President and First Lady, tested positive in the days after that event. CBS News just confirming Mr. Trump will deliver remarks from the White House balcony at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. His topic, law and order. He floated the idea of a campaign rally, but aides now say he will not travel until at least Monday. The President spoke about his coronavirus infection on Rush Limbaugh's radio show today.
I was not in the greatest of shape. A day later, I was fine.
The CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
547. Looking at computers all day can be tough on the eyes. K1 News Lynn Atkins reports on ways to make remote learning and working a little bit easier.
Staring at that monitor just inches from your face can cause eye strain, giving you headaches, fatigue, or dry, itchy eyes. Dr. Aisha Malik, a pediatric optometrist at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, says relieve the strain. Every 20 minutes, take a break. Focus on something at least 20 feet away for 20 seconds and blink 20 times. She says kids also need to be outside because studies have shown that UV light is beneficial for children with myopia, also known as nearsightedness.
But the idea is that it sends a signal to the eye not to elongate at an alarming rate. So the child will likely still be myoptic, but the final sort of level of the nearsightedness may not be as much as perhaps somebody who didn't spend more time outdoors.
She also suggests that computer screens should be placed at least an arm's length away to avoid eye strain. Lynn Adkins, KYW News Radio.
Well, more and more whales are being seen in a not-so-common place.
Apparently, humans aren't the only ones that know New York City is the place to go for a good meal. Scientists say they've seen a surge in the number of whales swimming in the waters around the country's most populous city. Most are juvenile humpbacks, drawn by a large amount of the small fish they love to snack on. Environmentalists say cleaner waters and stricter conservation laws have also increased their numbers. Lisa Mateo, CBS News.
We're in for a very unusual Halloween this year due to the pandemic. KYW's Adas Kuznets tells us health officials are recommending that people take some precautions.
William from South Philadelphia went out to get a costume for Halloween this year, but suspects that this year it'll be a very different looking holiday.
Probably not going to be like the traditional kind.
Meanwhile, Philadelphia Health Commissioner Dr. Thomas Farley says while the city is not officially canceling Halloween, he is recommending some health precautions.
People should keep 6 feet away from those that are not in that household. Don't gather.
So if you're giving out candy, you've got to get creative.
I've seen a lot of people shifting their own like tubes to shoot candy to like children and stuff.
Other health precautions include wearing a mask against COVID, not necessarily just a Halloween mask, conducting all activities outdoors, and don't participate if you're sick. Yolanda Gloucester of Cheltenham says she and her son will be bowing out of trick-or-treating this year. So you're out. You're like, no way. Definitely because of COVID. She tells me they don't even eat candy in their household.
And usually he takes it to school in sandwich bags and give it out to his classmates.
Is he even going to school?
He's not. He's doing virtual school.
He can't even do that.
No, he can't.
Adas Kuznets, KYW News Radio.
We have some problems on the Ben Franklin Bridge. Brian will update you on that and more in a couple of minutes. It's 5:50.
Your high schooler can take part in one of the most valuable programs in the nation for free.
KYW Studies offers students the chance to learn about journalism from our award-winning team. Take part in this priceless educational experience.
Go to KYWNewsRadio.com/learn for more info.
Presented by Temple University's Klein College of Media and Communication.
Are you looking for ways to increase the value of your business property? Repainting is one of the most cost-effective options. Let the expert team at CertaPro Painters help protect your investment with professional results. Plus, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They're a local business you can support. Contact them today at CertaPro.com and discuss your project and get a proposal. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters. Proven and trusted experts in paint. Home improvement contractor registration numbers are available at CertaPro.com.
Injured on the job? Insurance companies will turn their backs on you. I deserve better. Some employers just won't care. Get the benefits you deserve. Call 215-587-8400. That's 215-587-8400. Martin Law, the law firm for injured workers for over 40 years. Commemorate the centennial anniversary of voting rights for women with the National Constitution Center's new exhibit, the 19th Amendment, How Women Won the Vote. Now open. This exhibit traces the struggles and triumphs that led to the amendment's ratification and features some of the influential women who transformed constitutional history, including Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Ida B. Wells. The Constitution Center looks forward to welcoming you back with your health and safety the top priority. More at constitutioncenter.org.
It's 5:52, a milestone birthday for a rock and roll legend who left us 40 years ago. That's coming up right after traffic and weather on the twos, sponsored by Gary Barbera's Peterson Crowd on the Boulevard.
All right, speaking of the Boulevard, some good news. They've cleared that accident southbound approaching Foxball. All lanes are open again, but you're still jammed back to about the 9th Street area. Northbound, you're heavy coming off the Schuylkill up to that point. A little bit of a gaper delay continues. Now, the Schuylkill is already slow both ways, and generally slow eastbound from 202 all the way into the city with some breaks in it. On the westbound side, you'll see delays University to south, then generally from the Boulevard out to Conshohocken, and then continuing the Blue Route up to Mid-County because of an accident on the Turnpike just after Mid-County eastbound. It's blocking the two left lanes. It's jamming the Northeast Extension southbound and the Turnpike eastbound for about 3 miles. Blue Route South Heavy Route 1 down to 95. Delays both ways on 95 between the city and Cotman. Very heavy northbound. We're also seeing delays if you're heading into New Jersey Walt Whitman Bridge crawling all the way across. Ben Franklin is still slow westbound. They cleared that accident, and there's the police back in activity at the bottom of the ramp. Now you get into New Jersey in 42, your typical delays between the Walt Whitman and 55. 295 south heavy as well from 30 down to 42. But the turnpike northbound still a 4-mile delay approaching exit 5 for Burlington Mount Holly because of an overturned tractor trailer and tractor trailer fire. Ring ding ding ding. Gary Barbera is Peterson proud. Ring ding 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 ding. Barbera-thon is in full swing. $1.99 down or $1.99 a month for the color you want. Come to the Big B with your pockets empty. Is Barbera Coach Peterson on Earth the best? Boy, I guess. In the KLW 24-hour traffic center, I'm Brian Ramon.
Hey, Ryan, the NBC 10 First Alert forecast, sunny and pleasant. The remainder of the day, what's left of it, high 72 tonight, partly cloudy and 57. Tomorrow, nice again, partly sunny, much warmer, high near 80. And right now, it's 69 in Collegeville, 71 in Hatboro, and at the Acme in Swedesboro. Sponsored by Acme, fresh foods, local flavors. Today we remember John Lennon, who would have turned 80 years old today. KYW special contributor Larry Kane knew him well and has more.
Watching John Lennon with his friends Paul, Ringo, and George on stage was thrilling, electric, and dangerous. Getting to really know John Lennon was amazing.
Who is John Lennon? John, how are you?
I'm fine, Larry. How's his health?
Fine.
John and Paul wrote some of the greatest music of all time. Up close, John was a prankster on the plane. A serious writer, very funny, very fast and intuitive. Here's an example in 1965 at the end of the tour. We were doing an interview. He emphatically denied a popular tabloid report that he was using numbers to send secrets out to his friends. This is our goodbye in 1965.
John, thanks for talking to us. We'll be talking to you throughout the tour.
Nice
working with you.
Nice working with you, Larry. 529. I laughed. So did George, who's listening in. John was not perfect, but his search for truth had no bounds. In Prague, 12 years after the Soviet-Russian takeover, a wall was designated the Lenin Wall, where people would pen words of freedom and liberty. The Russian soldiers would whitewash the wall every week, and the people came back over and over again. John Lennon, world icon. Larry Kane, KYW News Radio.
And from New York comes word that another legend has left us. Whitey Ford, the great Yankees pitcher, was 91 years old, a Hall of Famer, known as chairman of the board. His 236 wins are the most in Yankee history. Now we check money news on.
Apple will ship directly to consumers from a network of almost 300 retail stores spread across the U.S. with the government in order to make films there, including Mulan, a $200 million live-action remake of the company's 1998 animated hits. From Bloomberg,
Philadelphia, a radio.com station.
In business, things move quickly. You have to be ready to shift, pivot, adapt, then do it all over again. Comcast Business gives you fast, reliable internet on the nation's largest gig-speed network. And for a limited time, you can also get fast shipping with Amazon Business Prime Essentials. Wow, that was fast. So no matter what comes next, you can do more than bounce back. You can bounce forward. Help your business bounce forward with this amazing new offer. Get started with powerful internet for $69.99 a month for 24 months with a 3-year agreement. And ask how you can get 1 free year of Amazon Business Prime Essentials on us. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go online today to find out more. Offer ends 11/15/2020. Restrictions apply. Limited to new Comcast Business 100 megabits per second internet customers only. Early termination fee applies. After 24 months, monthly service charges reduced to $99.99 a month. Equipment, installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Call for restrictions and fee details.
Whether class is in school, at home, or a little bit of both, school goes on.
And Staples has everything your student needs at amazing prices. From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to project boards.
This week, Staples number 2 pencils, marbleized comebooks, 2-pocket poly folders, and 24-pack Crayola crayons are only 50 cents each.
Shop in-store, pick up curbside, or order online.
School on, save on at Staples.
And 10/10 while supplies last. Limits vary online and in-store. Curbside available in most stores.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening, who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
get control over the virus. We're releasing a plan to save lives in the months ahead. We need to increase prevention, doubling the number of drive-through testing sites. We actually need a clear message from the very top of our federal government that everyone needs to wear a mask in public. Every single frontline worker should have the personal protective equipment that they need to be safe. We need to support schools and child care programs for parents, even when they can return to work, are confident that their children will be safe and cared for. Finally, we need to protect the populations most at risk, our seniors, vulnerable populations with pre-existing conditions. We need real plans, real guidelines with uniform, nationwide standards. It's a simple proposition, folks. We're all in this together. We gotta fight this together. We'll emerge from this stronger because we did it together. I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president. This message is for
This time, 6 o'clock.
Honest, credible, local.
You've never needed us more. A white former Philly cop is charged with murdering an unarmed black man while on duty in 2017. The Trump campaign loses its quest to put poll watchers in Philadelphia's new satellite election offices. The man killed by police in Germantown after he went on a deadly rampage may have been behind an earlier double murder. 72 degrees, partly cloudy in Center City. We're heading down to 57. This is Friday, October 9th. I'm Ian Bush. Good evening. Our top story at 6:01. A white former city cop has turned himself in to face murder charges in the death 3 years ago of an unarmed black man. Happened in East Germantown. KYW's Das Kuznets has the story.
Former Philadelphia police officer Eric Root Jr. faces charges including first and third-degree murder in connection with the shooting death of unarmed civilian Dennis Plowden. According to evidence presented to a grand jury about the December 2017 incident, Root radioed from an unmarked car asking to run a tag on the car Plowden was driving. Plowden was pulled over briefly and then drove off, striking the open door of a second unmarked police car. That apparently led to a high-speed pursuit in which Plowden struck cars and stopped when he struck a pole. District Attorney Larry Krasner says Plowden then fell to the ground outside of his car after both airbags deployed.
Within 6 to 8 seconds of arriving on the scene, former officer Root shot Plowden once, the bullet passing through his raised left hand, wounding 3 fingers, and traveling directly into his head.
Krasner says Root was fired by the previous police commissioner shortly after this incident, but would not comment on whether the former officer had a history of disciplinary action. In a statement, John McNesby, president of the Fraternal Order of Police, says the allegations will be reviewed by their attorney and appropriately defended. Das Kuznets, KYW News Radio.
6:02 now. Just ahead, turns out the Delaware suspect in the plot to kidnap Michigan's governor had been pardoned last year. We'll have details after we check traffic and weather on the 2s with Ryan Ramona.
Well, Ian, a real mess on the Pennsylvania Turnpike eastbound. A couple of left lanes are taken out just after Big County on the eastbound Turnpike. They're backed up for 4 miles approaching it on the Turnpike. It's also backing up the southbound Northeast extension, backing up the Blue Route northbound all the way back onto the Schuylkill east and westbound, trying to get on 476 north. So it's a real mess heading that way. You might want to avoid it for the time being. Boulevard southbound getting back to normal. Earlier accident around Fox is gone, but a delay northbound. You're jammed from the Schuylkill up to 9th Street. Some of that is leftover Gaper delay. 76 west, heavy University to south. That's the ongoing construction in the left lane. Also 422 eastbound, back to normal around Trooper. That earlier accident is gone. Blue Route south, delays between Route 1 and 95. 95 is slow southbound from Ridley Park to 322. Northbound, heavy around the Commodore Ferry, and again just after the Girard Point Bridge. And then northbound, you're slow from Penn's Landing. Girard. We also have delays both ways between Cottman and the Betsy Ross Bridge. 309 southbound at Orvilla Road, seeing in the jam camp an accident there with Hatfield police on the scene with that. Tipster reporting the traffic lights are out at 3rd and Market just off of I-95. The tip line, of course, is 215-724-1060 to be part of the AT&T phone force. Now, the bridges really jammed on the Walt Whitman heading into New Jersey on the downside. Then once you get on to 42 south, you're slow from that point to 55. 55 north jam there as well. But avoid the New Jersey Turnpike approaching exit 5 for Mount Holly. The tractor trailer and fire. Use 295 northbound heading that way instead. Mass transit, no major delays. In the KYW 24-hour traffic center, I'm Ryan Ramona.
And the 5-day forecast now live to NBC 10. First alert meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz. Glenn here to take us through the holiday weekend, or what is a holiday weekend for some of us anyway.
Yeah, it's going to
start off really nice, and it's going to end up really nasty. We have the remnants of a hurricane that's hitting the Gulf Coast right now, Hurricane Delta, and that moisture, some of that at least, is going to be coming up this way. Now, it can't possibly get here by tomorrow, so tomorrow's going to be the nicest day of the weekend, and then it goes downhill from there. For tonight, we're clear with a low of 57, not nearly as chilly as the last couple of nights. Tomorrow, partly sunny through the high clouds coming way ahead of the storm. 80, depending on how much sunshine we get, but certainly no rain tomorrow. Then on Sunday, the clouds thicken up. We do have a chance of showers late in the day, high 75, and then the rain becomes likely Sunday night, Monday night, into Tuesday morning. Some of that on the heavy side, especially Monday, which looks like pretty much a washout. On Monday, the high on 66. Then Tuesday, after the morning showers, up to 76. Then Wednesday, pretty nice day again, high 74.
All right, Glenn, thanks. It's 6:05. New details tonight about the Delaware man charged in federal court in a plot to kidnap Michigan's governor. Gary Croft Jr. has a long criminal history. He received a pardon just last year from Delaware's Governor John Carney. Records show Croft spent 3 years in prison after he was convicted in 1997 for possessing a firearm during a felony. Carney granted Croft a pardon last year for that gun charge and for several other crimes a week after a $36,000 tax lien was filed against him. Croft is being held in a Delaware prison after his arrest by the FBI. We're learning more about that rampage yesterday in Germantown that left an innocent woman dead, other people hurt, the suspect killed by police. KW's Kim Globus tells us cops have gotten a tip about that guy. He might be responsible for a couple more killings.
It started around 3 a.m. Thursday morning at St. Luke's Church. Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw.
A violent and armed individual began a cycle of events that will forever change the lives of countless people, including a very young, innocent woman whose life was just beginning.
Stanley Cochran entered St. Luke's and was confronted by a woman who lives and works there. Police say after more than 30 minutes of back and forth with the woman, Cochran fired a shot inside the church. That's when police say the woman threw him her car keys and he left. Minutes later at Green and Maplewood, police say Cochran tried to carjack another vehicle, but the driver put the car in reverse and fled. The driver spotted police cruisers and flagged them down, giving them Cochran's description. In the meantime, police say Cochran stopped another car, fatally shooting 19-year-old Skylar Owens Mooney in the head. A male passenger in the vehicle was also shot. He survived. Officers finally confronted Cochran at Rittenhouse and Germantown Avenue. Shots were exchanged. Cochran tried and failed to steal a police cruiser. Then one of the officers got the gun in his sights and fatally shot him. Kim Globus, KYW News Radio.
Campaign 2020 on KYW News Radio. Sponsored by
The Trump campaign has lost its bid to put poll watchers at Philadelphia's satellite election offices. Our City Hall Bureau Chief Pat Loeb reports.
Common Pleas Judge Gary Glazer agreed with the city that the satellite offices are not polling places. He cites the definition of polling places in state law as being open on election days in a voting district to serve that district. The offices are open now and will serve anyone citywide. He also notes the functions of the offices: voter registration, mail-in ballot applications, pickup and drop-off. Even with a section reserved for voters ballot out on site, he writes, there is no opening, counting, computation, or recording of ballots as there is at polling places. City Commissioner Lisa Dealey says her office is pleased with the decision, adding they will welcome poll watchers at voting sites on Election Day. Pat Loeb, KYW News Radio.
President Trump will head back on the campaign trail on Monday, a week after he was released from Walter Reed Medical Center where he was treated for COVID-19. He's scheduled a nighttime rally for Sanford, Florida, telling Rush Limbaugh on the radio today that doctors like the progress he's made.
These 11 guys came in today, they showed me stats, it's amazing. I don't know that I was not in the greatest of shape. A day later I was fine, maybe perfect, but I was fine.
The president has not revealed his current testing status. He'll emerge from his COVID-forced isolation tomorrow for a speech from the White House balcony. Hundreds of people have been invited, despite concerns about an event in the Rose Garden earlier that may have acted as the nexus for the coronavirus outbreak.
The nation's leading infectious disease expert says it's clear.
The data speak for themselves. We had a super in the White House.
In a CBS News radio interview, Dr. Anthony Fauci said he worries about misperceptions following the president's bout with coronavirus. He says it remains a serious disease. I asked him if there is, as Mr. Trump is suggesting, a cure.
That's a word that leads to a lot of confusion.
Fauci says treatments require further study, including the antibody cocktail the president received last week. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News.
Joe Biden holding campaign events in Las Vegas today.
Folks, we're so much better than this. We can turn this crisis into progress. We can contain this virus. To agree with our economy.
That honking you might have heard, not behind you on the road. It's courtesy of the drive-in rally held by the Democrats, which is north on 95 to
Still a big backup on the turnpike northbound in New Jersey for about 4 miles approaching
Crash Center.
Clear skies during the night tonight, not nearly as chilly as the last couple nights with the low about 57. Tomorrow, partly sunny, we'll have some sun through the high clouds that are moving in. Much warmer though, with the high near 80. Then on Sunday, clouds sticking up, chance of showers late in the day, high 75, and then rain becomes likely Sunday night, Monday night, and into Tuesday morning for the remnants of Hurricane Delta. Monday's high is 66. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz with your most accurate forecast.
72 degrees. It's partly cloudy in Center City as we head down to 57 degrees tonight. Sunset, Philadelphia, 6:29 this evening. Here's a check on Wall Street, sponsored by CrashProofRetirement.com, where you can see videos of people who have peace of mind with their own crash-proof retirement system. Dow closed up 161 points on the day. NASDAQ gained 159. That's more than 1 1/3%. The S&P 500 added 30 points.
More local news when it matters to you. Depend on KYW News Radio.
3 things to know right now, sponsored by Oliver Heating and Cooling. The Louisiana and Texas coasts race for Hurricane Delta. 100-mile-an-hour winds, life-threatening storm surge. Number 2, today's global coronavirus cases set a record. And recapping our top story, Eric Rook Jr., a white former Philadelphia cop, has surrendered to face murder charges in the death of Dennis Plowden, an unarmed black man, 3 years ago. All ahead in the next 15 minutes. I'm Ian Bush. Good evening. Quentin Client is at the editor's desk. Hurricane Delta really is bearing down now on the Gulf Coast. Top winds at 100 miles an hour, gusting to 125. The Category 2 storm will officially make landfall soon. It's just 25 miles off the coast of southwestern Louisiana, right near Lake Charles, where reporter Tom Trung says people still picking up the pieces from the devastation caused by Hurricane Laura back in August now have to deal with another storm.
They already have gone through the wear and tear of a previous hurricane, and now the infrastructure and the stability of those buildings are very, very fragile, and the last thing you need now is another major disaster, another major hurricane moving through here to upset the progress that has been made, which has been very minimal.
Delta's forecast to bring life-threatening storm surge as high as 11 feet in some places. 6:17, hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots are on their way to voters in Montgomery County, though there's confusion over the ballot tracking website that's run by the state. To unravel this story from Suburban Bureau Chief Jim Melward.
Montgomery County residents who signed up for mail-in ballots got an email on September 21st saying their ballot was in the mail. The message says to call the voter services office if it doesn't arrive within 10 to 14 days, but Montgomery County didn't actually start mailing ballots until September 30th. The county says 200,000 ballots will have been mailed out by early next week, leaving 3 weeks for ballots to be returned. But that email saying when ballots are mailed and the update on the PA Voter Services website are generated by the Pennsylvania Department of State, not by counties. It lists the date the file's sent to the printer, not the date ballots are actually mailed. The Pennsylvania Department of State says they're aware the ballot tracker on their website might have the wrong mailing date, and they say they're working to have more accurate tracking. At the Suburban Bureau, Jim Melward, KYW News Radio.
Today's number of new coronavirus cases worldwide has set a record. 350,000 reported to the World Health Organization today. Its emergencies chief, Dr. Michael Ryan, acknowledged there are no new answers when it comes to the surge. He said although the agency wants countries to avoid the punishing lockdowns that have devastated economies, governments have to ensure that especially the most vulnerable people are protected. Just yesterday, you'll remember Pennsylvania and New Jersey reported the highest number of new COVID cases seen in months. At 6:19, the medical report on KYW is sponsored exclusively by Independence Blue Cross. Our medical editor, Dr. Brian McDonough, looks at herd immunity for COVID-19.
Perhaps you've heard some scientists saying herd immunity is a great way to fight COVID-19. The theory that the more people get infected, the more rapidly the virus will die down. Normally, when we talk about herd immunity, we talk about how much of the population needs to be vaccinated to have immunity to the virus, so transmission can no longer take place. It's very difficult then for a virus or a pathogen to transmit between people. That's how vaccines work. But natural herd immunity, letting everyone get it, would be devastating. In a population of 330 million people, if we wait for 60 to 80% of people to get it, we're talking about 200 million plus Americans getting COVID-19. At a fatality rate of 1%, that's 2 million Americans who would die. I'm Dr. Brian McDonough. Hey, what up, News Radio?
72 degrees, partly cloudy in Center City, falling to 57. It's 6:20. Had a crash on the eastbound Pennsylvania Turnpike, causing quite the mess right now. We'll get the latest from the traffic center in a moment.
Your high schooler can take part in one of the most valuable programs in the nation for free.
KYW News Studies offers students the chance to learn about journalism from our award-winning team. Take part in this priceless educational experience.
Go to kywnewsradio.com/learn for more info.
Presented by Temple University's Klein College of Media and Communication.
We will never know how many of our friends and family members didn't get COVID-19 because we followed safeguards. We'll never know that number. This is Dan Hilferty, CEO of Independence Blue Cross, with a simple reminder of how much good we do for others when we protect ourselves. We'll never know how many lives we save because we wear masks, wash our hands frequently, and keep social distance. We'll never know exactly who we help, who we save when we take protective steps each day. We'll only know one thing for certain, that we did all we could to save people from the effects of a pandemic with the potential to overwhelm the region. And that's a nice thing for us to live with. Thank you all. For more on what you can do, visit ibx.com. Together, we are beating COVID-19.
This is important information from Spector Law Group, Philadelphia's most trusted immigration lawyers. Do you or your loved ones want to fix your immigration status, but don't know what to do? A professional, trusted immigration lawyer can tell you your options. Make sure you speak with the best. Lawyers at Spector Law Group have helped thousands of immigrants, and they can help you. Call 215-323-6845 or visit SpectorLawGroup.com. That's SPEKTOR Law Group. 215-323-6845.
After 13 years of self-destruction, Nellie closed the door on drugs and opened the door to the Salvation Army. And that's where she got her life back. The Salvation Army, helping people like Nellie because of donors like you.
Donate your used vehicle to the Salvation Army, where one car, one truck, one motorcycle really can change one life. Donate online at sacardonation.org or call 800-SA-TRUCK. Towing is free, plus you'll receive an IRS tax receipt. The Salvation Army, doing the most good.
6:22, just ahead, plans for an election integrity panel in Pennsylvania get scrapped. Check traffic and weather on the 2s. Sponsored by Window Nation. Here's Brian Ramona. Well, it's still a crawl on Pennsylvania Turnpike eastbound approaching Mid-County. An accident up ahead in the 2 left lanes, jamming you for about 4 miles. Also jamming you on the southbound northeast extension of the northbound Blue Route right before the Schuylkill all the way up to that point. Now 76 is slow both ways between 476 and Belmont, and then eastbound heavy again from the Boulevard down to the Vine. Westbound was already slow University to South due to the left lane construction. Also reported an accident 95 north near Girard in the left lane. Boulevard northbound heavy 76 up to Broad. That's just volume. Also in Hatfield 309 southbound at Orville, they're clearing an accident there. But you're jammed in Winnet 202 northbound at Somethingtown Pike due to construction. Now the bridges are a lot better, though once you get to the Walt Whitman downside in New Jersey, you're slow from that point to 55 on 42. And still jammed on the Turnpike northbound approaching exit 5 due to a jackknife tractor trailer. The Farmer's Almanac is predicting a cold and snowy winter. Is your home prepared? Window Nation will help you beat the weather by offering 2 free windows for every 2 you buy. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. In the KYW 24-hour traffic center, I'm Brian Ramona. Partly cloudy tonight, down to 57 degrees. It'll be partly sunny tomorrow with a high of 80. Through the high clouds, that sunshine. And the NBC 10 first alert forecast ahead for Sunday. Clouds increase, chance for showers late, a high 75, and some rain at night into Columbus Day Monday. 66 in Lansdale and in Fairless Hills now. It's 69. The Acme in Audubon, New Jersey, sponsored by Acme. Acme's hiring. Go to acmemarkets.com/careers. Pennsylvania House Republicans are dropping plans to fast-track setting up a Republican majority election panel with subpoena power amid accusations it was an effort to steal the election.
In an email to House Republicans, Majority Leader Kerry Benninghoff of Center County said the muddied waters and misunderstanding about the intent of the Select Committee on Election Integrity made it clear it's the wrong time to run the proposal. Democrats argued it's a Republican tactic to suppress votes. 625 Money News on KYW. Sponsored by Eisner-Amper. Dow closed up 161 points on the day. NASDAQ gained 159, gain of more than 1 1/3%. The S&P 500 picked up 30 points.
KYW News Radio presents Live and Learn, Education in a COVID-19 World.
The Philadelphia public schools are closed for now, but the district is offering an in-person alternative for some kids. KYW's Justin Udo spoke with some students about what their new school day is like.
Like most kids in Philadelphia, the pandemic has kept Kasim Washington out of his school building, but that has not stopped Kasim from having a physically interactive school day. That's because he goes to one of the city's dozens of access centers.
I like that there's new people in this winter.
The fifth grader who goes to the Longcrest Access Center starts his day with a temperature check and questions about how he's feeling. Even though his classes are online, much of his day is just like he's going to school.
Basically going outside, helping with my homework, and then give me a snack and lunch.
Kasim's younger brother, Kasir Washington, says he really enjoys the social aspect of the Access Center.
It makes me feel happy because I can play my friends.
Their mother, Janet Washington, says the Access Center has been a saving grace for her as well.
I'm smiling right now because if it wasn't for the Access Center, me working a full-time job and going to school full-time would have been impossible.
Washington says between the health checks and social distancing protocols, she feels comfortable sending the boys to the Access Center each day as an alternative to the school building.
The children are safe there. They'll help them with their homework.
Sunday is this. Both these defensive lines are going to dominate the other one, like their offensive line. I think both the defensive lines are going to be the reason why it's a low-scoring game and a game that's really close late. Like, you think about what these teams are, that's their strength. The strength of each team is up front. And the Steelers' defensive line and their pass rushers, T.J. Watt, Bud Dupree, they will get the pregame love. If you're watching, whatever, it's going to be Fox or CBS, they will get the pregame love on Sunday. Because those are the guys that everyone knows. Those are the guys that were really good last year. Heck, you know what? There's a comparison before we go back to the phone lines. I got Tucker over here poo-pooing the idea that the Eagles defense can carry them into contention all year. Did anyone check out what the Steelers did last year? The Steelers last year had Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph playing quarterback. Okay, I don't know if their numbers were worse than Carson Wentz right now. Might be close. Probably possible. Yeah, it might be close, actually. But they got really bad quarterback play last year. Bad. They lost Ben Roethlisberger early in the year, and they had two backups trying to just piece things together. They did not score points last season. Now, that team had Minka Fitzpatrick. They traded for him. He was outstanding. And they had all these great defensive linemen and pass rushers and even linebackers. A tremendous defense. But that team last year, I believe, went 8-8. and they were in it like right to the last week or so of the season, even though every week you watch one of the games, like they can't move the ball, they can't score points. I think more highly of this Eagles offense than that Steelers offense. I don't think they're going to have to be as great as last year's Steelers offense, but we just watched that. Last year there was a team that couldn't move the ball, and their defense saved them. I mean, you know what the big difference between that defense and this defense is? They took the ball. Right? That team forced 20 or 38 turnovers. This team has 3. Yeah, 3 games. They have 3 through the last game. So they're on their way. Now, they're not going to take the ball away that much, but they're on their way. 215-592-9494. Warren is at Gwinnett Valley. What's up, Warren?
So I love your positivity, and I hope that's enough for Carson Wentz to get a win this weekend. And I'm thinking that this is a battle of the two quarterback warriors, and the warrior that makes not the least mistake, but no mistake, should be the winner this weekend.
Well, Warren, I agree with you. It feels like a very... I know the line is 7.5, but it feels like a game... Two things are going to decide it, Warren. One is going to be, like you're saying, the turnover battle and no mistakes. And it feels like one team will make one big play. Like, that'll be it. Whoever makes the 35-yard run or the 50-yard pass, you probably can't overcome that. One big play and then the turnover issues.
I have to say, I like the play of our players that are coming off the practice squad year after year versus the highly paid players, Deshaun Jackson and the like, that you're counting on to make those plays and make those catches. And if these younger players can step up to Carson the way they have been, the Eagles should be able to pull this off. What do you think?
Well, yeah, they can. And I think if they continue, and there's something about that, Warren, that the Eagles seem to every year pull these guys up and they're able to play. And we don't know who they are. We never heard of them before. And we keep talking about all these guys that miss games, but it says something about the Eagles. I don't know if it's all about Howie because he finds them, or all about the coaching staff because they get them ready. But it is amazing. Like, these guys go in there and they're able to make plays. It's a testament to the franchise.
It is, and I hope that Doug has a good plan for Carson to keep him out of harm's way and keep him open so that the offense can get off to a good start. Hopefully start with the lead, and hopefully the defense can hold up and the Eagles can stay ahead the entire game.
Well, that would be amazing if they could. And Warren, I appreciate the phone call. I don't expect the lead from start to finish on Sunday, but yeah, that'd be outstanding, especially because then you could let the pass rush go to work. And that was the whole thing in 2017. The Eagles had a tremendous pass rush, great rotation in 2017. They were usually playing from ahead. The Eagles were a great first quarter team in 2017, always seemed to get leads, played from ahead, and they got their run game going, and they got the pass rush revved up. That's what they did. This year it hasn't been that. They haven't had significant leads other than the Washington game, and that whole thing just evaporated very quickly. But we've been conditioned over the last 5, 6, 7 years in the NFL to just almost ignore the defense. Like, just ignore it because the offense rules today. It is an offensive league. And I'm here to tell you tonight that you can say what the teams have, and it's not on purpose. Like, I don't think the Eagles set out to have a bad offense. I don't think they planned for Carson Wentz to regress the way he has at this point through his 5th season. None of this was planned. But here they are. And every time the offense struggles, every time the offense makes the field look like it's at 120 yards, like a sense of, oh no, they're doomed, comes over everyone. And the other side of the field, like, what's happening there is just as significant. And it's the fact that they are unblockable right now. They are getting after the quarterback at a level that, again, the Eagles through 4 games, it's a quarter of the way through the season. We've got to see if this continues to play out. But through 4 games, the Eagles are on pace to have more sacks than any Buddy Ryan defense and any Jim Johnson defense. There's something going on here that I think we have to really pay attention to. And there's something going on that they can carry them. The Steelers last year, we've seen other teams. The Bears a few years ago. Again, and Tucker mentioned turnovers. That's a significant factor here that needs to continue to go in the way it went last week. If you're going to be a defensive team, you have to force turnovers. This team, before last week, didn't do that. They didn't do it against Washington. They didn't do it against the Rams, and obviously they didn't do it against the Bengals. They need to do more of that, but I think that can come. I don't think it is a character trait that you can't force turnovers. I think it's sometimes a little bit of luck in there. Sometimes it's your pass rush just makes it happen. Like last week, did the Eagles suddenly get better at forcing turnovers, or did the defensive line just hit the quarterback at the right time? Did it all just kind of fall in place at the right time? I think that was more of it. Where, Jannard Avery hit Nick Mullins at the right time and the ball fell in Rodney McLeod's hands. I think that is certainly possible. 215-592-9494. As they happen. All right, along with our conversation of whether or not you think this defense can carry the day, the Eagles defense being good enough to carry them in a playoff position, I do. I'm in on this defense, and I think that Rams game is almost scarred us a little bit because they got just rocked, and the linebacker play this year has been poor. But there's something about the defensive line that I don't see going away. I don't see why the guys that have played the way they've played so far in this rotation, where they're all getting in there, they're all keeping fresh and wearing teams other teams down. I don't see where it goes away. I think it's going to be the reason that come November, come December, we're still talking about a flawed Eagles team and real chances to win this division and make the playoffs. It's this defensive line. 215-592-9494. Along with that conversation, I want to throw something in there. So last night, was watching Nick Foles, by the way. How about that drive late? How about that clutch throw between 4 defenders there late to help get the Bears a victory last night over Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? So watch the game, and you have Tom Brady there after the game, and the whole thing happened again, just like in the Super Bowl, where Tom Brady does not shake Nick Foles' hand. He walks away, leaves the field. There's Nick Foles standing there waiting for Tom Brady to have a quarterback handshake after the game, and Brady disappeared. And this morning I saw an article that maybe this is because of COVID, and Tom Brady is just avoiding shaking hands, which is obviously nonsense. He's just a sort of loser, and he ran off the field, and he did the same thing he did, in many times before, but we know to Nick Foles in Super Bowl 52. And I was thinking about it last night after the game, and kind of seeing some of the reaction today. And you know what Tom Brady is? Tom Brady is one of the ultimate athletes in which I respect the game, but I can't stand the guy. Like Tom Brady, if you don't respect Tom Brady's clutch play, accurate arm, just complete winner mentality, like I don't see how you could be a football fan and not respect what Tom Brady has done for all these years and still try to do it now. I respect a lot of Tom Brady. I can't stand Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady is, you look at him and you can't stand Tom Brady. He played for the Patriots, always with that dumb smile on his face. Like Tom Brady is, you can't stand Tom Brady. So here we're doing it. We'll have fun with this. We'll sign Tom. I can't stand Tom. Can't stand Tom. We had this conversation. Well, yeah, you like Tom Brady, which I don't get. I mean, I respect him. I respect the guy's game. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. I can't stand Tom Brady. 215-592-9494. When you call in tonight, we'll talk about how we believe in this Eagles defense enough to carry it. But give us an athlete that you respect the game, but you can't stand the guy. And there's a lot of these. I'll throw one more in the mix. And the Eagles are going to go against them on Sunday. I've never liked Ben Roethlisberger. Something, I mean, obviously this off the field stuff when he was young that I think turned many people off, kind of off-putting with Ben and the kind of person he may have been at a different point of his life. But I never liked him. I've never been a Ben Roethlisberger guy, but I respect his game. Tough as nails. It was like a tree when he was young. You could not bring him down to the ground. A winner, an obvious winner, with three Super Bowl appearances and 2 rings. I heard the afternoon guys today debating on whether or not that Carson Wentz could ever match or exceed Ben Roethlisberger. Here's a quick answer to that: no, he's not going to do that. The player, amazing, Hall of Famer, first ballot. I can't stand Ben Roethlisberger. I'm out on him too. So I can't stand Brady, can't stand Ben Roethlisberger, but I respect him. Someone you respect in sports, but you can't stand them. Tucker, who you got?
I'll stay in Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I know a lot of people here won't even go to the extent of their respect.
Well, you have to.
I mean, the guy's like, what, 2-time MVP, 3-time MVP, won the Stanley Cup 3 times. Yeah, concussion issues for a while. It's like a year and a half, and came back and won back-to-back Stanley Cups. I mean, he makes my skin crawl, right? I hate seeing him on the ice, the antics he does after, the whistle blows and things like that really piss me off, but I mean, he's going to go down as one of the greatest hockey players of this generation.
Yeah, he's the best player of this generation. I mean, who would be second? Ovechkin? I mean, he's the best.
Yes. And Ovechkin's kind of become like this cult hero.
Yeah, he won.
Because he won and he's like kind of old and he still scores 70 goals a year.
But the best player of the generation has been Crosby. I respect Sidney Crosby. 215-592-9494. guy, can't stand the guy, but respect the game. That's Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady again last night, not shaking Nick Foles' hand. Tom Brady's annoying. Tom Brady, like he's impossible to root for. But obviously, I have to respect the game. Right? All the guy has done for 2 decades is win, and he's still driven to win now, even with Bruce Arians and the undisciplined Bucks. 215-592-9494. John is in Virginia. Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going, Joe?
Good, John. What's on your mind tonight?
Actually, funny you say Tom Brady because he had quite a senior moment last night with that. I think it was he still had a down to go with no time left.
Oh, yeah, and he absolutely didn't know how many down. Like he played it off after the game, but he didn't know.
Yeah, he was clueless. Hey, so I would agree with you on the defensive front. I think that, obviously they're the silver lining so far this year, but I would say that and I got by the way, a Steelers girlfriend, so she's just texting me right now. We're driving up to Pittsburgh to watch the game, actually, so.
Are you gonna go to the game or just watch it?
No, I gotta deal with all the family members and like 20 Pittsburgh fans, so that's gonna be fun.
Well, good luck.
The Lone Eagles. But I would say that watching both the teams this year, the offensive line for the Steelers is pretty solid. It'll be interesting to see which defense can get the better penetration. To me, that's the battle front. If the Eagles can get Roethlisberger, I think there's going to be some, opportunities there to have a game that we can stick in on the offensive front. But if they can't get the Roethlisberger, he's gonna use Juju and all those weapons.
Yeah, he has a lot of young ones too. Deontay Johnson's a good player. He's got some out there. It's going to be a chore, but yeah, that's the key, John. And it's really the only chance the Eagles have. It's that defensive line. John, appreciate the phone call. 215-592-9494. That is how you hop in here. We get back. We're going to play it for you last night. Tom Brady's explanation of his senior moment. Like, Tom Brady had a senior moment last night. He forgot how many downs there were late in that game. Really an embarrassing moment for the greatest quarterback of all time. And Brady certainly is an athlete that I respect, but I cannot stand. Who's one for you? 215-592-9494. And agree, disagree. The Eagles defense can carry them into playoff contention. I believe in this defense. I believe it can. I think this defensive line is as good as we've seen here in years. 215-592-9494 on Sports Radio 94 WIP. And no one does football like FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. If you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, then here's something you won't want to miss. Right now, new users can get exclusive plus 1,500 odds boost on either team, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, for this weekend's Inter-Pennsylvania matchup. You heard that right. You can get $10 to win $150 on either team to win. Look, if the odds weren't boosted like this, I would tell you take the points and you get out of there. But with this, have some fun with that. I would take Philadelphia with that. And with FanDuel Sports, incredible odds, really just the beginning. They've got a simple app, live betting on every game, and once you win, they get your winnings in as little as 24 hours. So if you've never tried FanDuel Sportsbook, it's time to get off the sidelines and bet on football or any of the other major sporting events happening right now. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and use promo code Chilio to make your first deposit and claim your exclusive plus 1,500 odds boost on either team. That's promo code GIGLIO. FanDuel Sportsbook, more ways to win.
21 plus, present in New Jersey or Pennsylvania. New users only. Must wait during assigned boost market. Deposit required. Max.
Sunday, Vikings at the Seahawks.
What if you made the risk plan? You'd most likely do something to save yourself a bunch of money. Well, you're in luck. Because when you get Xfinity Mobile and Internet together, you can save up to $400 a year on your wireless bill. And with Xfinity Mobile, you can choose the perfect data option for each person using it. From unlimited to shared data, or a mix of each. All on one plan. And all with 5G included at no extra. And wireless with flexible data options. Call 1-800-XFINITY. Wireless savings compares to average of top providers. Xfinity Internet required. 5G only.
What up, it's KD. I'm excited to finally bring you my podcast, The Accelerants.
People had a couple days to digest the first half of this combo with Kyrie.
That was the best option on every team I played for, down the stretch. This is the first time in my career where I can look down and be like, damn, I'm gonna make that shot too.
Join me and KD, each and every week on the Excited List. Subscribe and listen for free on Apple Podcasts, radio.com, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Joe Biden. To fix the economy, we have to get control over the virus. I'm releasing a plan to save lives in the months ahead. We need to increase federal support for testing, doubling the number of drive-through testing sites. We absolutely need a clear message from the very top of our federal government that everyone needs to wear a mask in public. Every single frontline worker should have the personal protective equipment that they need to be safe. We need to support schools. Populations most at risk are seniors, vulnerable population with pre-existing conditions. We need real plans, real guidelines, with uniform nationwide standards. Simple proposition, folks. We're all this together. We gotta fight this together. We'll emerge from this stronger because we did it together. I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president. I approve this message.
Morning.
What you get in my house, see?
Turn the air conditioning vent. It's dark in there.
Go away.
How about somebody else Cheerios?
Cheerios.
Honey, Cheerios are tasty and can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet. Did you just...
No.
I'm pretty sure I heard a...
It was my drama.
You might want to get that thing checked out. Have a change of heart. Honey Nut Cheerios. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
Maybe you've noticed your friends sharing photos of what looks like fried food, but they're bragging about how healthy they are. They're right. It's the latest in cooking innovation, and Lowe's has Samsung sliding ranges with air fry to help you get in on the trend. Air fry uses little to no oil, giving you the taste of your favorite fried foods. Plus, the air fry tray is included, so you can start cooking from the get-go. Order yours today via our app, online, or in-store, and get free delivery. Bring home the innovation this fall with Lowe's. Free local delivery applies to appliances starting at $6.01 US only.
Oh, you put french fries on a sandwich? That's really cool. Wow. Eagles, Steelers, Sunday, coverage to 10 a.m.
WIP, Julio with you. This defensive line, I think it is good enough to keep the Eagles in playoff contention all year. As we head to the game on Sunday against the Steelers, it's the reason I think they're going to have a shot on Sunday. It's a reason I believe they're going to win one of these next two games, either Pittsburgh or Baltimore, and so shot this all and give us a season. I understand everything about the offensive league we're dealing with right now, but when you have a pass rush as good as this Eagles pass rush has been the last couple of weeks, you can wreck games, and that's what we've seen. The Eagles have wrecked the last two games, and really almost stole two games because their offense was garbage. That's hard to do. It's hard to win in the NFL when your offense is trash. And the Eagles almost had two straight wins with a bad offensive performance. Why? Because the defense is just coming along here. They're the most sacks in the NFL, and I expect it to continue. 215-592-9494. And when you hop in tonight, give us an athlete that you respect but you can't stand him. Because Tom Brady fits that to a T. For me, watching last night, Nick Foles beats him, and Brady refused to shake Foles' hand after the game. And I want to play this for you. So the last caller mentioned what Brady happened to Brady last night. Late in the game, fourth down, Brady overthrows a pass deep down the field, and he then looks to the sideline and throws up four fingers as if now, or after that, it's fourth down. I mean, it's pretty clear what happened last night. The great Tom Brady forgot how many downs there were. It's embarrassing. It's like Willie Mays stumbling around the outfield, or Ken Griffey Jr. falling asleep in a recliner in the clubhouse during a game. The greats get old sometimes, and you watched it last night. They had a moment where he forgot what's going on. Here's Brady trying to lie his way through all this after the game.
The kind of play Stewart, I think they had mentioned that they needed more sport down. I imagine that was the case. It was 4-5, took a shot really great.
Yeah, I knew we needed a chunk, and I was thinking about more yardage, and then, it was a bad execution. We had a great opportunity there, so just didn't execute when we needed to.
Tom, don't lie to everybody. Even that lie was, if you watch the video, you can see it where his face is all like, oh boy, I gotta answer this question. He was not happy.
I mean, even like the play makes no sense, right? Throwing to a guy double cover 20 yards beyond the sticks. But yeah, it's just, I don't know if he didn't know at the time that everyone saw him going around holding up four fingers.
He must have known.
Like, it's pretty obvious. I'm waiting for his next press conference where Like, he has to know by now that people know that he didn't know, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, or I could see him if they win next week. I could see Tom Brady laughing it off. Like, at least I knew how many downs there were this week. You could see him making a joke in his next press conference after one. Either way, it's bad. He forgot how many downs there were. I mean, could you imagine if that happened here? If Carson Wentz did that in a big spot? I mean, we would lose our minds for a week. Now, he'll get a pass for it because it's Tom Brady, and he's won 1 million championships, and he's the greatest quarterback of all time. But in a late game situation, game on the line, the guy forgot how many downs there were. It's as big of a mental lapse as I can remember a quarterback having ever. I'm not kidding. I guess what was it, Kirk Cousins? Did Kirk Cousins like spike the ball here against the Eagles once on a second down or something? It was something weird happened with that. I think it was 2015. Cousins did something wacky before the half of that game when Washington was here. I mean, you very rarely see that. It's almost like in baseball, you know the player has forgotten how many outs there are. There was a play, maybe 20 years ago now, the Mets were playing the San Francisco Giants in the playoffs, and Benny Agbayani, I don't know, you know this one, Tucker? Benny Agbayani was an outfielder for the Mets. There was 1 out in the inning. There were runners on base, fly ball down the left field line, like right by foul territory. He caught the ball for the second out. He thought it was the third out and tossed